the only reasons why an agent in agency should be talking to us. Our problem is we just start talking. We just start volunteering what our calling is, where we live, what we were doing at a particular time, in a particular place, who we were with, and all of this self-incrimination without ever qualifying that this agent was even supposed to be talking to us.
And that's called a confessing defendant.
All right. Welcome everyone to today's call. Today's live is the alleged 31st day of the first month of the year of our Lord 2023, allegedly. And we're gathered here today to continue our Bible study. We have people willing to give up their seat if it becomes packed out today, as it has been the last few weeks. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for remembering to put the hashtags for the day and the topic. Today is going to be another eye-opening, mind-expanding experiment. I think we've got it down to a few basic principles, and I want to hear especially from those who may have joined us during the last 5-6 calls since right before our official disqualification day. We have been communicating this basic idea stemming from the documents that predate the Constitution, as well as in the Constitution, as well as in every other legal or lawful document that has come out based upon the Constitution of the United States. The bottom line is that the agents are only supposed to be talking to regular people under two circumstances. That is, they have corpus delicti, meaning that a man harmed another man and they were enlisted for help by the injured party. That's corpus delicti. If they don't have corpus delicti, they can only speak to us in an emergency, a real emergency. There's a tsunami. There was a hurricane coming. There's a tornado and you're in the path of it. The bridge has been blown out or something like that. They're not supposed to be having these regular interactions with people where they're initiating communication. And as I said, this is coming not from my own comprehension or my own interpretation. This is literally what is written in the documents that set up the government. And what we have are, on one side, agents that are oblivious to their own job description, the statutes that govern the transactions they're involved in, the legislative intent of those transactions. And it's up to our efforts to not be guilty of, if you want to call, instigating or entertaining those types of situations, because we're unaware of the only reasons why an agent in agency should be talking to us. And our problem is we just start talking. We just start volunteering what our calling is, where we live, what we were doing at a particular time, in a particular place, who we were with, and all of this self-incrimination without ever qualifying that this agent was even supposed to be talking to us.
And that's called a confessing defendant. Malika, do you know that you're not on video?
Shit.
No, you were recording your
video.
I'm
not on video.
Right.
I'm hiding today. Hey, look, I'm in that shirt I'm wearing in my in my picture. Yes, so great to see y'all's beautiful faces. Y'all can see my ears I'm wearing. Tao of the Tao. Right. So we are correcting the concepts in our mind. We are correcting our presumptions of who we are in relationship to the agents in agency. We're going to stop this nonsense about I have a court date when there's no corpus delicti and you don't work for the government, which means that you're not an agent, which means you don't belong in an administrative court. Why? Because you're not part of the government administration. That is the only justification, the only reasoning, the only thing that could make an expectation of a man to appear or or do something or not in response to or on behalf of the request of an agent in agency. There's nothing, in my opinion, more important than this, because I have people who have been coming to me over the past few years from all types of different reasons, if you will, but each and every man or woman that comes to me has the same blockage in the mental of the fact that these agents are not even supposed to be talking to us. And I don't know how much more simple to say it. They just can't be wearing their uniform at work. Look at us, regular people, not in uniform, not at work, and be like, I can give unsolicited advice and opinions about your life. I can administer your private rights. And for those who have been taking notes along with us, this is going to be very important. So it's not just someone trying to pour something into you or onto you. You are actually getting it because you are going through the efforts of seeking the information, copy and pasting the information into your own document. So it's not going to be like, well, how do I tell them that blah, blah, blah? You can go to your master documents and the notes that we've been creating and go, okay, yes, this part here's what I need. I'm gonna put that in my notice. Oh yeah, this part here as well. I'm gonna put that in my notice.
Motherfucking right.
Okay. You've got to stop this slave mentality of I have to perform on behalf of the government. We have to take away their power to use our heartstrings, threaten to take our children, threatening to administer our rights to our children as a way to control us. Because you have to be like, well, if you're not supposed to be talking to me, it does not matter what you want to talk to me about. A lot of the tactics that other people are showing, teaching, helping people to implement, it's not that they're wrong. It's not that they're bad. It's, right? It's not that it's untrue, right? However, what it is that is still contributing to our problem is that it presumes they were already supposed to be talking to you. I hope you guys are starting to see that. A lot of the
Giving
processes
them a
that people
fucking
want to
seat at
go
the
through.
table.
Say that again, Charles.
Giving them a fucking seat at the table.
Exactly.
So the corpus is the body of the whole. Okay, it's of the offense. So if you're doing the offenses to these people or other people, you fall under that body of the whole of the delecti. And the delecti is the delectum of the fault and of the offense of the transgression of the trespass in any form. So if you're trespassing on them or you're trespassing on someone else, they consider you as a delinquent because you're delinquent in the natural and divine law that's already established of you being lawful. If you're being lascivious behavior, you have to be sucked into legality because you need rules and regulations of a parent's patriae, because you're being a juvenile delinquent.
And their job in the system is to keep us in that juvenile, asking permission. If this piece is the crown, may I
Faster, daddy.
insert the right? Because we do dumb shit, don't we? We don't know how fast to drive when it's raining or when it's snowing. We need a sign to tell us. The sign for me is the fact that it's fucking raining.
Here's your sign.
Here's your sign, right? It's raining, bitch. It's 30 degrees outside. It might be ice. Okay, you might want to slow down. No,
Emotional outburst.
we need to have a sign that says slow down. We need to have flashing lights on the highway that says, put on your seatbelt. This is how they train us in public school, unfortunately, to just look for the government to signal to you. And then that's when you're supposed to leave. That's when you're supposed to say how high. That's when you're supposed to come, whatever.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just being facetious.
Okay. Okay. Issa, do you have a question about what we've covered so far before we go on today? Continue our conversation.
Well, it was about the video that you did with McReal
Mm-hmm.
like 4 weeks ago. I don't know if that goes with along.
Oh yeah, it does. It does, because we're gonna go right back to there and let everybody know this is exactly why we started there. If they're not supposed to be talking to you, the very first thing you need to do is disqualify the communication, disqualify the communicators.
So my questioning was, I was just listening to it not too long ago, actually today, but he was saying, is he on right now?
Yes,
He was saying you send a private notice to the judge,
yes.
and a part of that notice, are we assuming that they didn't do the
We're not
due-
assuming. We're not assuming. because they didn't do it.
So okay, so I'm stating that you didn't send the notice to the secretary and all that.
Exactly, because they can't.
Yeah, the difference is we're
You
applying.
would have had to have given notice to the Treasury first, like, hey, if anybody contact you about me, holla at me. Here's my number. Here's my name. Here's my contact
The re-
information. And then they
the
would have to
reason
send a letter to the Treasury going, yeah, see that guy who told you you could talk to him? Like, we need to talk to him. And the Treasury goes, yes, all that's supposed to happen.
reason why they don't. Who is that?
No,
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. That was Issa.
The reason why they don't is because they would have the obligation and the liability for as your fiduciary. So
Pay their tax.
whatever charges they issued on you, it's just like a bankruptcy. They would have to pay for them, right? It's that simple.
So they are practicing the law and we are applying the law. Okay. So while they practice in legality, we are applying the natural and divine law of all men that's already established. We're not in that venue of legality.
So basically, what they're doing is a bait and switch, which is
Right.
trick
Yeah.
trick you into acting like they had authority to administer your person, and then when you show up and start motioning and shit, then now they can put the liability back onto you, right?
Yeah.
So now you're the fiduciary, and now you have the liability when they never had it in the first place.
Carrot stick. Carrot and
Yep.
stick.
I was just
They get you
wondering-
with the carrot and then beat you with the stick.
I was just wondering about how. Well, I have an idea how I'm gonna draft up, but it's going straight to the judge. I was just wondering how to state the fact that
If you get to the end of the video, we actually have a template already.
okay.
Don't get me wrong. You can ask the judge. You can disqualify him and put it like a 2-for-1 there, and ask him to provide you with that authority from the Treasury because you didn't get my written consent. So you can ask him to supply that, and if he don't, then you got a claim.
Okay.
All right. So here are my notes. Hopefully everybody else's notes look similar to my notes. I started from the Declaration of Independence where it says that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from consent of the governed. And the reason why this is important is because even though it's in the Declaration of Independence for the federal United States, it's also in every single state constitution, or well, they put it all in one. So they'll say it's in the Bill of Rights of the state or something like that. It will say the exact statement. And this is important because we are presumed to be already having given consent.
And they're also presumed to be government, but they're not.
Exactly.
That's the A1 sauce right there. They're
Right.
not government. It's on the
Government.
website. It's on the court website. It's on the 4506A
Oh,
form if you
never
want to
mind.
take the time to do that. It don't even matter. I'm just going to tell you all across the board, your district bullshit ass court is not government. They're not government.
No. And that's because none of the judges are properly appointed under the appointment clause of Article 2, Section 2. I think it's Article 2, Section 2. It's definitely Article 2.
And then there'd be Article 3, right?
Yes. So the Article 3 appointment comes from Article 2, which is the president.
Boom.
That's why the judges at the county courts are not judges and are not Article 3 judges. It can only be Article 1 judges, which means that they can only deal with agents in agency. Okay. So when I was saying about the fact that the agents in agency can only talk to other agents in agency, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Without corpus delicti, where a private man says another private man harmed me, or a private man says anybody harmed me, even if it's another contractor, government contractor, we'll call them. Okay. This all is they're only supposed to be talking to other agents. And it becomes clear when you see right here, governments institute among men derive their just powers from consent of the governed. That's the reason why, in order to be part of the government administration,
Like coming to number one.
you have
That's
to
right.
raise your hand and say consent.
And specifically, if you don't know the difference between your fucking straw man person and yourself, right? That's the only thing they can talk to. And even still, they can't talk to that without authority, right?
Right. See, this is where me and Charles get into it, because I always say they can't talk to me. They can't talk to me through my person, because if it's my person, it's still a private person. And unless they got corpus delicti that my private person did something to someone else, again, they're not supposed to be talking to me at all. at all.
Right.
So if it's their person, then absolutely it don't have nothing to do with me because I have nothing to do with the government.
That's what I was going to say.
Whatever the hell you want
So she
with
secured.
your person.
So she secured in her person's first, second, third persons as personal, intimate to her. The person they're talking about is something that they created through informancy of gossip and hearsay, and they're trying to adhere her to that.
They're like, oh, don't our person have something to do with you?
Right, right.
How did I swear an oath to uphold the government? Because if I didn't, that can't be my person.
So that consent is volunteered servitude right there. When you see that word consent, that is volunteer servitude. You must consent to these things unknowingly or knowingly to be assumed and presumed to be tied to a firm number of a decedent will of theirs because you don't know your true live will.
I'm still waiting to see. I'm still waiting for them to tell me who died and made them my boss. They're talking about instituting this decedent will. Well, who is the decedent? Who died?
Your twin.
Nah, I'm not buying it.
You're Gemini. You're Janus.
Nobody until you get that specific paperwork, though, right?
What are you talking about? My SPC paperwork?
What is it when you die? What's the paperwork called? Goddamn.
But see, a death certificate presumes something was living, and a name is not living. Names
Right.
don't live.
Again with the connection and connecting the body to the paper.
They keep trying, but you could only connect my body to my person's. You can't connect it to your person.
Yeah, my body didn't come off the manufacturer line and came with a title.
Oh, what? You're not G.I. Joe?
No.
You're not a
no.
government issue Joe?
Stop lying, Bobby. I know you're manufacturing.
I'm a real boy.
Yes, we're not G.I. Jane either.
I know you're manufacturing.
So in the beginning of your document, we're connecting the Declaration of Independence. We have the federal constitution. We see that they can only, these are the two things that we're going to be talking about mostly today. That collection of taxes to pay the debt, or the collection of taxes, period, regardless of what it's for. The collection of taxes and interstate commerce. Because these two things are inseparable.
Where's Jamie at? He needs to be on here for this shit.
James?
Jamie.
Oh, Jamie. Yes. So these two things are inseparable because the people or persons that they charge, that they collect these taxes from, are those engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. Do you guys understand? The only persons they can collect taxes from are those engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. I hope that's very clear because people out here paying property taxes, they paying cooked food taxes. They're paying taxes on the car they purchase, taxes on when they transfer a so-called house, they pay taxes again. But are you engaged in that business? Did you incorporate and register to operate a business when you were doing that? Who operated a business to buy the already cooked vegetables at the and meat at the deli?
Are you still doing the food free every time you go?
Every time.
God damn.
Every time. The only person who doesn't do it is my husband. When he
Lisa,
goes,
I told some people that this week, and they
when he
laughed
goes, he
their heads
commits
off at me.
crimes.
I was
When me
telling
and
them
Sonny
this
go,
week-
we don't commit crimes.
Isn't there something that says you can't go to jail for that crime to steal food or something like that?
Maybe, but I'm not stealing food.
I know what
I'm
you're doing.
exercising my dominion. So in the Feed the Fam class, which is the basis of what we're talking about right now, I'm going to segue a little bit. In the Feed the Fam class, the very first thing we talk about is the charge. If they try to stop you for taking your food, they're going to attempt to charge you with larceny. But in the charge for larceny is already the defense against larceny. And if you go and look at it, you will see that the defense against larceny written in their own statutes is the fact that the food was already mine. If you believe, it actually says it, that the number one defense to larceny is that you believed that it was already yours. If you are engaged in interstate and foreign commerce, you cannot use that defense. Because if you're engaged in interstate and foreign commerce, you are as an agent trustee for a fictitious entity. So you can't claim, oh, well, I thought my LLC already owned this broccolini.
And what code was that again? I had missed it. I did hear what you said.
It's just larceny. You'll find it in every state code. The one we went to was New York.
Got you.
And in New York, like right below the section that they talk about larceny, the very next section is defense to larceny. So I'm going to go ahead out here on a limb and assume that if you look up larceny, you will also look up defense see defense to larceny in whatever the state code is, because if they charge you with larceny, it's always going to be a state level thing.
Well,
Okay.
I told you
also,
what happened with that lady who got stopped coming out of Walmart. They hemmed her up and she got him for kidnapping, etc. One point 1.3, 1.5 million.
What
Okay.
type of suit did she do? Did she do state or federal?
I didn't read it real thorough. I just glanced at the
The
news
charges.
reel.
I'm glad she put kidnapping in as one of the charges.
I'm pretty sure it was just kidnapping.
Because
and
if you're not engaged in interstate and foreign commerce and they stop you, it's kidnapping. It is kidnapping straight up.
That's
Right.
how I. If most of you don't know, my youngins got similar thing coming out of the store, and of course they didn't end up getting charged because I got on the horn with them, and because like I said, they just because you leave out of the building isn't technically stealing. You'd have to leave the property, right?
You'd have,
And
plus you'd have to be
that
engaged in interstate and foreign commerce,
Yeah,
engaged in
stop-
some type of
the fact
taxable
that
activity.
the
And-
fact that they held them up on the property and nothing was actually missing or damaged, and they got the property back, well, then there's no harm, no foul, right? They
Right.
have to be
So
out
look-
of the store property, which is the parking lot, in order to be arrested for any kind of theft.
Okay, that's why larceny, if you look at larceny, it specifically says hireling or mercenary. And the reason it says that is because it's a worship, it's a service paid to the gods and hired labor as a servant, as a worshiper. So if you're buying and selling and purchasing, you are transacting crucifixion to our one most high, to all these several Roman and Greek pagan gods as one of their servant and worshipers. Do you understand that? Because they're gathering up Mother Earth into productions that was mine, yours, Malika's, 100 people on this call that were already ours. So they gather them up, and instead of they distribute them to the community like the food pantry, the churches do for the food pantries. They go get the stuff, they keep the receipts, they write the stuff off, and then the churches go distribute it to the community. Instead of they separating us at the door like the Walmart greeters standing there should do. Are you one of us or are you one of them?
Yep.
Is right there at the door, but they don't do that. They allow us to commit that crucifixion to our Savior.
And Malika, remember I told you when I spoke to the what was it, the youth probation.
Yes.
So they told me that it was they can't make me to bring the kids down there. It was voluntary.
Yep. They actually told him that on the phone. It's voluntary.
What's voluntary?
They could not make him bring the children to the police station to charge them. They
Right.
told him it's voluntary.
The number one concept that folks should be really drilling down on is volunteerism. You have to get that concept and understand that, and all this other stuff starts falling in line.
But the main thing we need to get is that you are volunteering. If that's the reason I don't have hair, right? Because y'all be making me tear it out. People, I was not forced to. You took your own leg. You let the fear in your heart tell your mind to make your leg take you to court. The
I tell
fear
you-
in your heart made
So
your
it-
mind put your legs in the car and go like this and take you to go to jail.
And then on top of that, if you did do the things that Malika was saying, and you did get what would you call it, apprehended or
Kidnapped.
stopped.
Arrested, developed.
CC.
The point of the whole thing is the groceries or whatever never left the goddamn scene, right? Nothing ever left, and they're not
Well,
adding anything to
so-
it about insured.
You're
Nothing
right,
was
Charles.
damaged.
They don't have
Nothing ever
they don't have a cause of action
Nope.
unless you physically leave the property, but they still have to show that you were engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. There's no way around that. They
Right,
cannot
right.
just be enforcing your private gathering and eating.
So what overcomes the reasonable suspicion of probable cause? What overcomes that? Your will. And that's what volunteerism is all about. You have to know that the will is the basic principle that you have to live by.
Nobody wants to tell themselves that they're volunteering, but I'm here to tell everyone on here that you are volunteering. There are people on Facebook, they call themselves voluntarists. You probably seen them on Twitter or even on TikTok. They call themselves anarchists sometimes. They call themselves voluntarists. But guess what? Every single one of them bitches made their fear in their heart tell their mind, put their legs in the driver's license DMV and get a license. And then they go, oh, can't we just have a voluntary society? We already have a voluntary society. There are lots of people volunteering to be slaves, and then they try to convince themselves and others like me that they were forced. You can't convince me that you were forced. You took your own hand and scribbled shit on papers that you should have never been scribbling on. I had to sign it, or else they wouldn't give me this shitty job I don't even like.
And then in the same breath, did not, not take orders from me or you. Stand up to me and you, right? I don't get it.
Stand up
If
to me if you feel like, but I'm not your enemy.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Someone off the street, if someone off the street is gonna come rob you, you're gonna defend yourself. But
Yeah,
since
but
I
when
gotta
the
sit in
cops come to
car,
rob you, you
I
roll
gotta
over on your back and show your belly, show your
Right.
soft white.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah,
Be the same bully.
exactly. Keep that same energy when you come to talk shit to me and Charles and Bobby and AIM and Am Woman and Jasenia, right?
Workers.
Or some street debt
and
collectors.
Hassan, right? When you come talk shit to us, keep that same energy. When you go talk shit to these motherfuckers that's not supposed to be talking to you.
Right.
This is
You
my
do the same to us.
rub my belly.
Yeah, they be like a soft white,
Yeah.
right? So the black is what we went over day one. The blue is what we went over the next time. The purple is what we went over yet the next time when we started talking about the Attorney General and title. We're talking about Title 15 since they're only supposed to be regulating commerce, right? That has to do with the Secretary of Treasury, which is primarily in Title 31, as well as the Secretary of Commerce, which is Title 15, even though that's foreign trade and foreign commerce. And then they both regulate the territories and possessions of the United States. And we went over that, right? Shoot. I want you guys to know that I did find where definitions were for commercial products and commercial services. It's right here in 48 CFR 2.101.
You need to have a class on fucking simple writing.
Simple writing.
Yes, I see that now.
Well, that's why I made the template of the document, the case, and we have things in there like only use simple sentences. Do not, do run-on sentences. And people are just resistant. People they want, I don't even know, like
They
just
want to try to be. I seen what's the names the other day, and you can't mention all these. Well, you can mention some of these things in short, but most people are trying to use the codes, and then once you
they're
use the
trying to do
codes,
too much with one simple letter.
yeah, and using the codes trying to back up what you say. Half the time you just say the shit. You don't even have to use the code.
I
But
like using the code. I like saying pursuant to this, blah, blah, blah. Therefore, show me the record.
but so like on I know you don't like this shit, which is credit repair, right? You don't even have to use fucking the codes to do credit repair, but some of that writing is concise and small and just a page long, versus using all these codes and then having to copy and paste that shit.
Yeah,
all
you
the way
don't
down.
have, and the thing about it is like, we'll mention the codes, which I don't have a problem with people mentioning codes, but you don't have to put the whole section of the code in there. You can
So-
mention the code and let them go look it up.
So if
Themselves.
if you're using number 4 font, that might be an issue.
Shut up, Bobby. Four
got-
font.
got
You
a
trying to fit all your
19
shit in there?
Wow.
19
It's 19 pages, single page, space, 4 font.
Yeah, I
Don't
think
do it,
even
guys.
the 12 font that I just utilized, the 12 font, I was like, in comparison to 9 seems sufficient for the whole.
No.
Even though I sent the documents with 12, once I looked at it after I printed it out, I'm like, 9 looks sufficient.
You can't tell me you cats haven't tried number 4. You can't tell me.
Stop.
Yeah,
9. I've never been lower than 9.
9 looks really good.
You gotta act like you're in high school when they tell you you have to write a 20-page whatever. You see when the girls start writing letters that take up the whole line, like you have the lined paper, and the girls start writing the letters that take up the whole space. GOOD. You take up this much. That's what you have to start doing. Act like you have a page limit, and you need to say everything you need to say. And you don't have much to say, so make it big. Again, we're gonna go down. Show you guys in the Declaration of Rights in your Constitution. Everybody should have found this part right here that says repeats what the Declaration of Independence says about political power inherent in the people, and governments derive their just powers from consent of the governed. You have to know this, because what this says is that slavery is illegal and unlawful. So don't be acting like you are being forced. You're not. You're not being forced. Your fear in your heart that is not of God is what makes you use your mind to take your legs and act like you're being forced. You're not standing up on the fact that you have to have consented and that you require the proof. Maybe you were sleepwalking when you did it, but at least they should bust it out when you ask for it. We don't ask for it. We make assumptions, they make assumptions. All right. So now we're going to start with the red parts. So all my notes for today is going to be in red, and we're starting under where I made this part of my notes where it says state statutes connection, where we have the definition of person and the definition of state, so that we're very clear who needs to be where. Who needs to be where, right? So we continue with the where, because I got something special to show you guys, special about this. So we ended with this last time we were together about the territories and insular possessions, so that we can see that in the state statutes, where they define state and in the state, they're always talking about these territories and insular possessions of the United States, or territories and possessions of the United States, as it says here.
Hey, can I chime in?
Was that?
I said, let me chime in. This part right here is the best part for property tax.
It is, because again, you have to be engaged in interstate or foreign commerce doing taxable activity in order for it to be applicable. And the where is mucho importante. And this is the plain definition of territories and possessions. And
That's that shit.
yep.
Malika, is that donde or donde in the where?
It's usually just donde. It's usually just donde. I don't know where the but
And E.
so whenever reference is made to the territories and possessions of the United States, and when is it made? Whenever they say state. Whenever they say state, they are referring to the territories and possessions of the United States. In this subpart or in supplements there too, or any policy of insurance issued pursuant to the provisions thereof. Said territories. Check it out, guys. Said territory. Thinking state, you're like, yeah, I'm in Kansas. I'm in Illinois. I'm in Florida. That's what you're thinking. So when they say territories and possessions of the United States, we unfortunately imagine Nebraska. We imagine, but look at what they're saying.
Sometimes.
It shall be
sometimes on there.
deemed to include only, ready, only the Virgin Islands of the United States, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, American Samoa, the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, Guam, Wake Island, Midland. Who lives here? Who on the call right now lives here? Baker Island, Howland Island, Jarvis Island, Johnston Atoll, Kingman Reef. Who lives here? Put a one in the chat if you live here.
Your person
Yeah,
might be in one of them places.
If you find my persons in any one of these places, shoot them,
It's called the Island of Man.
because they are runaway slaves. So if you find any of my persons, shoot them
Well,
on site.
the most important thing there to look at is any policy of insurance.
Yes.
issued pursuant to the provisions, because they all are policies of insurance, because those persons, any legal entity, must be insured under the umbrella of the
That's
state.
why when they try to pull us over under Title 46, which is transportation, write that down, transportation. Whenever they pull us over, which is an arrest, and they give us a ticket, this is where they think you are. That's why we do an insurance claim. We do a notice of claim and claim of damages to wherever has their insurance, the secretary, what do you call it? So when we get a ticket from the city policy officers, we send the notice of claim and claim of damages because it's an insurance issue. We say there was an accident. One of your agents found their way to my property outside of their jurisdiction, and there had to be an accident. The accident was communicating with me without corpus delicti. Number two, communicating with me without an emergency, taking property from me, which is my time. My time is my property, and you took that from me. And then you might have taken me from my property by dragging me out of my car, etc.
I just realized that they're doing Congress' job. Ain't it Congress' job to regulate commerce?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where's their delegation of authority
Well-
from
Authority.
Congress? Congress
Well-
is supposed to be who's laying and collecting the taxes. Where did you get a delegation of authority to charge taxes on behalf of Congress? Ask the cashier. Hello, cashier. Do you have your delegation of authority to charge, lay and collect taxes? They're gonna be like, but
that's why I
Our
say that I
policy.
think, yes, right, policy. I think they're doing contract administrations of insurance policy agreements.
absolutely.
So, but I don't port that way because I'm not a tranny.
Right. And it's so interesting that you say train because so much of what is in transportation, that's all they talk about. They only talk about trains and
Right, R&R,
trains, railroads, railroad workers.
right, R&R is been very, you need to look those initials up and get to know that. But it is a self-railroading because this whole paragraph is doing nothing but ensuring the risk management of one USC, one NC persons who are male or female, past, present, or future. They're all conflued and admixed into one person, one man of many minds, right?
Yes.
You have to
very
ensure
severe- What do you call that? Isn't that
Well,
called
who does one USC want
schizophrenia?
Yeah, schizophrenic.
Who does one USC one apply to though?
They
Anyone
tell
that's
you in one USC one, it's the definition section. It says it applies to non-compass mentis.
unsound mind people, so they get sucked into these venues of this great sea.
No, you're
Yeah.
not a slave. You're just crazy. You're
You're so
just
crazy.
You're non-compass mentis. You're not a slave. You're just crazy.
You're so crazy, babe.
So here we see that the subject matter jurisdiction for the United States or any of the states that think that their territories are insular possessions, their subject matter jurisdiction is limited to the interstate commerce because that is the only taxable activity. The tax is collected from those engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. This is how you beat everything having to do with tax for anything at all. It doesn't even matter. This is how you beat any charge as well, because the charge has to be like when they say larceny, it's presumed that you're in interstate and foreign commerce. When they say robbery, it's presumed that it's done in interstate and foreign commerce. When they're moving under a statute, when they say, "Oh, we're holding you liable to any statute," that statute presumes that you are engaged in intrastate or interstate commerce. And so here we have the source. This source is very important, Title 49. If you go back to last week's conversation where we talked about Title 40, Title 48, Title 49, the reason why this is important is because on the federal level, this section here is where the definitions are for this is the interstate and commerce. This is the interstate commerce. Go ahead and write that.
We're just not raising to argue.
Interstate Commerce Act. We're not raising the argument because we're too busy talking about I'm a good mom, I wasn't late, I paid my child support. Like we're talking our business to people that that's not even supposed to be talking to us. Could you imagine? It's like that meme. No one, nobody, nothing. Oh, well, I paid my child support faithfully for the last 5. Like, why are you? They're not supposed to be talking to you. It doesn't matter what they want to talk about. And we keep getting mixed up with, well, this is the truth. And, like I got a call today. Oh, I bought some things overseas. I came back to the United States. They took it from me. That's all I need to know. You need to fill out a SF-95 form instantaneously against whoever the customs and border agent that took your shit. They took your shit under the presumption that you were engaged in interstate and foreign commerce that they can regulate.
My dad used
I
to
try
tell me,
all my friends to stop when they go in for child support. What usually happens is the trustee, which is supposed to pay the debt, right? The trustee comes around and asks all these guys questions, and they're sitting there like an idiot answering the questions.
Answer
you're pre-qualifying.
self-confessing.
Yep,
Then the
pre-qualifying.
fucking attorney just goes right in there and tells them, "Hey, let's hold this guy in contempt. He said he had a job. He didn't call us and didn't make a payment. Yada yada yada. You just confess." Right?
Just confess to being engaged in interstate commerce. Because see what it says right here, intra-state commerce means any trade, traffic, or transportation in any state which is not described in the term interstate commerce. So intra means inside the state, inter means between. They're still regulating it.
So when the cocksuckers come up to me and ask me, "Well, what's the deal? How come you're not paying?" I'll be like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
Right.
So now they got to go in front of the judge and say the same shit. Well, we don't know what's going on. Me neither.
Yeah. Why? I don't know why we're here. What?
You can't hold me in contempt for not knowing.
Who the fuck is you? Who the fuck is you?
Right. Who is you?
You
Who
the
in
fuck.
here is a you? Because we want to act intelligent. We want to be intelligent. And so we're afraid to say things like, I don't know.
I'll do it in a minute. Well, what's your social? I don't know.
I don't know.
You've been alive this long. You don't know your social?
What?
I guess.
What social? That's what you got to ask them. What social? We out here self-confessing.
I'm antisocial.
I'm dumb as fuck when they ask me something.
Interstate commerce regulated by Congress. This is such a great article here. I might still have it open, but let me see. You see, it talks about Congress's authority to regulate commerce. Joe just said it. Ain't it supposed to be Congress doing that? Yes, yes it is. Yes it is. But we have people out here who want to take on Congress's job. See, channels of interstate commerce. This is a great. See, they talk about the railroads, highways, waterways, railroads, airspace, telecommunications network. I'm about to blow y'all mind. About to blow y'all mind. Okay, so you have to go to your state. Go to your state, local jurisdiction, whatever the name of your codes are. Here in Washington, they're called RCWs. So whatever they're called in your local state, go ahead and look them up because this is what you're looking for. You're looking for the word intrastate commerce and then put the state name in or the state code in, I should say. So how I find mine is I put intrastate commerce, RCW, and every single mention for intrastate commerce in the codes, statutes, whatever they want to call them. They're the revised codes of Washington here. They might be the revised statutes of whatever, Nevada, what do you call it? Nebraska revised statutes. So sometimes they're the revised codes of, sometimes they're the revised statutes of, sometimes they are revised codes of.
Interstate means occurring within a state, right?
Yeah,
Between
the
states.
commerce though, the commercial commerce of a registered business entity though.
We ain't even in it.
So you see right here, the first time that comes up in the Washington Code is under agriculture and marketing. Isn't that funny? Who wants to share where their first mention comes up at? Agriculture and marketing is where interstate commerce comes up at. And it says it means all commerce, including but not limiting to the operation of any business. That's why this is so important. Or service establishment and the manufacturing or processing of articles intended for sale, held for sale, sold, stored, transported, handled, or distributed. This is what you have to be doing in order for them to take an interest in your children. Isn't that crazy? This is what you have to be doing in order for them to take an interest in your house. This is what you have to be doing in order for them to pull you over in your car.
Yeah,
This is
motor
what
vehicle.
no one is talking about. No one's saying, I wasn't operating a business established to manufacture or process articles intended for sale. No one's
May
saying
I?
this, but this is your defense. If you were not doing this, this shit can't kick in for them to make rules and regulate and punish.
You say Kansas Interstate Authority?
Is that the first time it shows up?
That's the one I pulled up.
Okay, so you put intrastate, and so what you'll find in your state codes is that there is an interstate commerce agency. In Washington, it's transportation. Again, just like in the
DMV.
federal.
Department of Revenue.
Yeah, well, the Department of Revenue is who's collecting the revenue, but they enforce it through transportation.
Well,
Right.
and you can look at it like it's a sport right in the middle of transportation. So it's a king of sports. There's three
Sport.
kings. One's got a wand, one's got a sword, and one's got a cup. So if these men are going to act like mercenaries and these hoarders to gather up Mother Earth to resell it to people, they're making merchandise of you. That's why these codes are like this, and that's why the first code is one USC, one insane person. It
Yep.
don't matter if they're a Papa John's that got a golden toilet with 40 cars and a movie theater in the house. He's still fucking insane.
Yep.
In New York, it comes up transportation, qualification of drivers.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's register.
Go ahead.
in Florida, it comes up under motor vehicles, commercial motor vehicles, transporters and shippers of hazardous materials. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Yes. And the reason they put the hazardous materials in there, and that's how I beat the TSA. They were like, oh, you didn't have a proper identification to be in this foreign trade zone pursuant to this code, Title 49, CFR, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you got any proof that I was engaged in interstate commerce? You have any proof that I was an employee pursuant to Title 49 CFR, whatever section? You got proof of that? They were like, we're not investigating you anymore. I was like, too bad, motherfuckers. I'm investigating you. And that's how I got my redress number. This is when you're in your car and they pull you over. So for speeding, for a busted tail light, and they give you a ticket for failure to maintain financial responsibility. This is what they're charging you with. Okay. This is what they're saying that you're doing. Operating a business or service establishment and manufacturing or processing of articles intended for sale, help for sale, sold, stored, transported, and distributed in the state. This is literally what your ticket is for. This is what your child support is for. This
So
is
when
what
they're
the repo of your car is for.
So when they're doing an investigation, they are vesting. They're investing time to get their piece of the pie that you're robbing from other people.
Yes, because you are making merchandise and robbing from other people. And that's the justification for them to come rob a little bit from you, which is why when my alleged anarchist, voluntarist friends love to say stuff like capitalism is the best way so that we can all volunteer. No, you don't volunteer into capitalism. No one would. Capitalism means making merchandise of yourself and others. That's what it means.
With an OL and an AL. Capital and capital.
And capital.
Yeah. El Capitan.
This is also good, Malika, for those those toll.
All of them.
Statements
Everything
they
where you
come
have
in.
to pay, whether it's at the pump, whether it's driving through all of it. They're all presuming that when what you're transporting is business or service to establish and manufacturing process articles intended for sale, help, sale, sold, stored, transported, handled, distributed. That is what the charge is. This is why you're paying property tax. This is why you're paying toll through the toll roads.
I told you about the toll. I blasted that motherfucker like ain't nobody. They don't
Well,
even
I got
send-
private plates on, so I do too.
they don't
My
send
sister
me-
has private plates on. She does the same thing. Blaze
I
through
still have my
Texas.
regular ones on though. I still
85 miles an hour, just blast on through, because you're not engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. All of those people going to work, paying at the toll, they're being made merchandise of, and they don't see a problem with it because they're like, oh, it's only $1, it's only 75 cents, it's only $1.50.
There ain't even no contract with them motherfuckers to pull over and pay shit.
Nothing.
Right. Nothing.
So in Washington, interstate commerce comes up several times. Are you guys seeing it in other places? Because it comes up here under food, drugs, and cosmetic and poison. Okay, so we got it under agriculture and marketing. We got it again under food, drugs, cosmetic, and poison. Y'all can see this is the FDA. What do they call it? FDA, Food Drug Administration. That's the FDA. Okay. It comes up again under motor vehicles. And here it says, just like Champ started to say, it comes up only under this section for the purpose of this chapter, unless context clearly requires otherwise. A commercial vehicle for the purpose of requiring a Department of Transportation number. Is your driver's license a Department of Transportation number?
Nah, because if it was, that's what the police would write on the ticket.
I don't know.
They
but
do
it's
write your
fine.
driver's license number on the ticket.
Yes, they
Yeah,
do.
they
They don't
do.
write it under DOT number.
It don't
I know
matter.
it's an-
They write it
I
on the
know it's an
ticket.
account.
They write it on the ticket.
The number that shows up for a driver's license is a Syndax number. It's this your name numerical.
Is it from the Department of Transportation is the question.
Oh, that's who. Yeah, I think yeah.
That's
it's
who
issued to me.
regulates it, though, ain't it?
Right.
And they
Yeah,
out here talking about commercial motor vehicles, and they tell you a commercial motor vehicle has to be over 10,001 pounds. Actually, no, this is more. Okay,
So that's
10,001
criminal
pounds is
conversion.
here, 6,001 pounds is here, and then it says any weight if it's transporting hazardous materials, which is what they were trying to get me under. That's what the TSA is for, guys. That's why I beat them. The TSA is for identifying hazardous materials. But if I'm not, hazardous materials being transported in interstate commerce. But if I'm not in interstate commerce,
Hey, Malika.
that means I could have a bomb. Not saying I would, right?
You're hauling ass though. That's hazardous.
Maybe because I got some poop in my belly, that might be hazardous material.
Hey, Malika. So
Mhm.
on the TSA thing, right? I can't really give out too much disclosure, but one of the companies that my company services is actually handles the hiring of TSA agents. So I've actually seen their contracts and know that they're not, and as you said before, they're definitely not a governmental entity because they're actually hired through a third party government contractors.
K4 Solutions.
We're supposed to have your
Zach.
information.
They're not supposed to have your information unless you are a registered business, okay? Engaged in what they say right there. Manufacturing, processing, articles intended for sale, held for sale, sold, stored, transported, handled, or distributed in the state. If they want to talk to you about anything, or what were you doing with those children? I'm sorry. I don't recall registering as a business or service establishment for manufacture process. Like, this is the defense for everything. Why you not liable for property taxes? Because I don't remember using the property in a business, a serviceman establishment of, same thing over and over and over. This is what you have to get into your head. That's why we're saying it so many times. It says it again about the motor vehicles, the hazardous materials. Then it says here, the Department of Transportation number, look at it, guys, it answers the question, means a Department of Transportation number from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. This is important because every single ticket that anyone has ever gotten in any state is for the enforcement of the Federal Motor Vehicle Carrier Safety Act. That's what they're administrating under your driver's license number, under the plates of your car. Those are all considered numbers from the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Administration. Hey, Trinity.
So you know how you were talking about go through the tolls and they can run your plates and stuff like that. So do you know you can send a notice to them to redact your information, and you can use the terminology sensitive security information. Even if you have your stuff in your car, you can use it has warning on there. They have an actual printout that you can use to put in your car, your little booklet. And if you have your registration, once you put it over that, they cannot look at your documents because they're not even certified by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Act.
Exactly.
They're not compliant with that. Right?
They're not.
Right.
Because you see, they try to use the fact that this can be regulated, period, to say they can regulate it. But when it comes to the county can only regulate those motor carriers that they license in business. The city can only regulate those motor carriers that the city licenses.
And what people don't understand is that your car don't even qualify anyways.
Yeah, because it's not even 10,000 pounds. And it's not transporting hazardous material regardless of the weight.
Right. So
that's the same shit I did to the DMV too.
That's what I was gonna tell her. Charles did that. He said that to the DMV, told them that he's gonna charge him for using or disclosing his information.
I did that too.
Give them the ultimatum: either send me the accounting so that you can make a possible legal action, or remove my shit from non-governmental entity database.
Yeah, and you know what? Not even that, Charles. Guess who's also involved in this circus? It's these automatic license plate reader companies contracting with the police department, putting the shit in the school zones. But that shit you can
again. If you didn't give me, if the city didn't give you a business license, they cannot regulate your license. If the county didn't give you the license, they cannot regulate your business license.
Those people
they can't use the state as a source of authority either.
Yeah, those people that lobby the police department.
So guess what's happening? These companies are private, right? So what are they doing? They're mixing public and private because now they're doing business with these private sectors, and the private sector is telling them, hey, I'm gonna let you use my camera, but I can access your database anytime and you can't do anything about it. Like, they literally have the contract set up like that.
And LexisNexis as well.
That's right. All of those databases, and you never gave them express written consent to maintain your person. Therefore, if they have a person in there, it cannot be your person. They can't. Oh, Malika, what? What you talking? What, Malika? Who told you could use that name? Well, we have it right here in my system. Well, that can't fucking be me. How could it be me? I never gave you permission to keep my person in there. It can't be me. And you can't make a person and then try to attach it to me. What's that called? A jacket.
Exactly what it's called.
Right, Trinity?
Not a
jacket, make a person. You make a person trying to attach them to me. That's a jacket.
That's a jacket. Sensitive security information. Sensitive security information. It has a literal warning, and it says if you don't get authorization from the transportation secretary, you can't even look at my shit.
That's for everybody. That's what everybody needs to understand. Even if you didn't give them that notice, you had to have given them express written consent to release that information. And if you didn't, then even without having given that notice, you just have to know that that's what it's supposed to be. But we don't care. We don't seem to care. They start talking to us, we just start voluntarily incriminating ourselves instead of pleading the fifth.
That's forgery and theft and what is that? Privacy.
It's identity theft, it's kidnapping, it's
Across the
wrongful
board.
conversion, all of that.
Good identity theft all across the board, guys.
And use of
Yes, it's always it got because you got to understand, got to go right back to the beginning. That consent of the governed. If okay, well, where is it? If I gave it to you, maybe I was sleepwalking when I did, but show
Yeah.
it to me. If they're like, well, we don't have that record. That's
What's
the
the
record we
famous saying?
need.
Are you making a legal determination?
Oh yeah,
You trying to prize and booty me and bottom ring.
Oh, Malik, somebody was trying to give me an offer. I called the Solicitor General and I was asking questions, asking them the information that I required. And the woman came up. She says, well, we can assign you an attorney. I goes, well, who's asking for an attorney? I don't need an attorney. I can represent myself.
We can assign you an attorney. Well, who gave you fiduciary duties to assign anything for me? Who died and made you my boss? That's the only question I gotta ask them.
Hey, slow down, Helen Keller. I'm not sure what's going on here.
And I know you don't
Helen
like to hear
Keller.
about. I know you don't like to
You
hear
don't
about.
need to be signing for me.
I know Malika don't like to hear about the credit cleanup. Essentially, every account number on your credit report is a misrepresentation, right? Because someone's acting like you to report your shit.
100 non-public
Okay, so
information.
I want to say something on that before we move forward, Trinity. So thank you again for the call you did a couple of weeks ago. My sister implemented it immediately and she got a response back yesterday from TransUnion, and they're trying to tell her that if she wants to claim identity theft, she has to go through some next step. They want her to like either
So
have
let me tell you what she can do. So now that they respond and tell her that, right? All she has to do now is respond back to them and say, it's okay. What I will do, I will assess this account at $11 million. And I will report it to the proper authorities, IRS, CID. Just respond like that.
right with
Nah,
the
just go-
financial crimes,
Go
Yes.
try to get a
financial
loan.
crime reporting.
Go get a loan. Try to get a loan now for that for as much as you want, and then there's a reason why you didn't get it, so now you can hold them liable for it.
Well,
Oopsie.
that's the thing
Yes.
that
Restraint.
they're
Restraint of trade.
they're currently already liable because she got a denial based on the thing that's on there. And that's why she's trying to get it off.
Okay.
And they just straight denied her before she tried what Trinity suggested. And so now that she did what Trinity suggested, they're like, oh, now they're responding back like, you want to report identity theft?
So this is what you do, Lika. Put also in there that they're in violation of the Hobbs Act, right? That's Title 18, 1951.
Oh, I got
And-
Hobbs stuff.
yeah,
That's in
and-
my
and-
notice of peonage. So you basically
Right.
saying I should just send a notice of peonage.
And restraint of trade, which is 15 USC 1 and
Yes.
2. That's some big fines on there.
Yeah, I was reading about 15 USC 1 and 2 more like
And
last
look up-
night.
Look up also in your state for computer crimes, meaning they can use it through the wire. You know, once they type your name, your information on a piece of paper or through the wire, that's called, here in Georgia, it's called forgery by wire.
Okay. I think that's what it's called even in Title
Well,
18.
if the account has been, like I said, you can't have any late payments on your credit report. That's
And let me
illegal.
just clarify for everybody why you hear Charles saying, I know Malika don't like this. It's not that I don't like it. It's that I know that if you're exercising your God-given rights, it's unnecessary. That's the only reason that you don't hear me saying, let's do a class on credit repair, because if you're using so-called credit, it is an instrument of this interstate and foreign commerce. That's what it is. So if you
No,
want to be
I'm with
engaged
you.
that way, it's fine. You know, like I said, it doesn't mean that they're evil, bad, wrong. Like these regulations are not evil, bad, or wrong. They're actually really great.
This
But
makes
what
it
becomes
easier.
evil, bad, or wrong is when it's misapplied. So when you're just living your regular life and they want to be like, oh, well, we think you're doing a taxable activity by having some sex or having a child in this state or buying a house. What? No, what? No, it's the misapplication I don't like. And if it's my credit, then I don't have to jump through any hoops to access it. If I find myself jumping through hoops, it must mean it's your credit. And I gotta perform and do a dance and all this stuff
Nah, you know
so
they
that
can't
you
issue their
would
own
give it
credit.
to me.
Yeah, but Malika, sometimes you really want, you really need something in the spur of the moment, and you know how they have control of these location in the federal trade zone, right? You got to go in there.
I understand why people resort to it. Don't get me wrong. But does that make it necessary? It doesn't. It doesn't make it necessary.
Well, see, that's where the want and the need comes in too.
Because the
Look-
road to hell is paved with I want
Right.
I
Yeah.
want. It's
Good
not
and
paved with I need. It's paved with I want.
If
That's
you're in that,
the road to hell is paved with I want. I
if,
want this thing. I want it faster. Those are the types of words that people like Charles use. And again, I'm not saying it's bad or wrong. It's just if I'm exercising my dominion, I don't care if it takes a little bit longer. I don't care if it takes me a little bit longer to sue them for the car for false advertising or sue them for the false advertising for the house. I don't mind. I don't mind if I have to sue them or report them to financial crimes and it takes a few
this,
more weeks or even a few more years. I don't mind
yeah,
because I'm
this,
not a microwave type of motherfucker. And it's
yes,
very rare that I could think like, man, I'm in an emergency. I need to
yes.
use this fake ass credit. Not saying it doesn't happen. It's just that's not how my life is set up right now.
That's why they are in a state of emergency. They tell you they're in a state of emergency because all these other people are not sound of mind to know that they don't. This urgency that they feel is of a childlike instant gratification. You can
Yes.
wait your turn and do it the right way and not have to go do that in urgency.
Oh, it's funny you say
In
that,
urgency,
Enrico.
that's a good way to put it.
It's
But
funny you
it's
say
so,
that, right?
we
Hi.
go with the good credit. It's so much easier to go with the good credit.
Yeah, but Charles, you remember when we spoke about this last week, it's so much easier to go with the good credit. I still got the free card thing up here, guys. It's so much easier to go with the good credit, right? But you know what this guy says in the video? He went through all that bullshit to fix his credit, and guess what?
He didn't
Still
need it.
denied. Still denied.
He didn't get
Still,
denied.
still had to do what I would do in the first place.
You have
He
to be
just
Because
went to the, when you get denied, you just go to the bank and hit them up, like we said.
that's what he ended up doing. I'm saying go hit them up, period.
Right.
Don't,
Once denied,
don't
once
wait
denied.
because the denial is trying to, in my opinion, the denial is trying to tell you that you need to have a driver's license or a social security for them to go through some next process and then still deny you. That's the
or a
denial.
credit,
You're trying to discriminate against
denial-
me up front.
or a
Denial
credit
is-
rating at all.
Hold on, Bobby. The denial is based on your ability to pay the scam back. That's it.
Yes, Egypt, being Egyptian.
But
being
so is the
Egypt-
qualification. So is
Yeah.
having the qualifications to give the things to be denied. So
Right.
so your denial of me begins when you put a barrier for me to apply by saying, well, if you don't have a social, you don't give us a driver's license, we're not even going to let you apply. That's already the
Right.
denial.
Anyway.
You want to hear something funny? I was watching a video last night. This dude was not panhandling, but he had a little cup shaking, want some money. And they were demonstrating about Ukraine. And the guy goes, "Hey, you're out here demonstrating for Ukraine. What about all the homeless people here in America?" You know what the guy turned to him and said? "I went to Congress to help Ukraine. Why don't you guys go to Congress?" I was like, damn, right in your face.
Bitch, dummy. Who made Congress? Can we go back up here? Who created
We
Congress?
did.
Who created
people.
Congress?
The people.
So why do I have to go back to Congress to tell them why I gave you money and you giving it to dude over there?
Exactly.
Yo, he was like, "No, man, give this homeless man some money right now. Help him out." He said, "Why don't the homeless man go to Congress?"
The homeless man already made Congress. What the hell?
Emotional outbursts. A
Go
friend
ahead.
of mine went to get an apartment and they approved everything for her and they tell her she can move into the townhouse for the price because she doesn't believe in what we're going through. And she told them that she will go on ahead and approve the going ahead and get the townhouse. So the day that she renovate a truck to go and move into the apartment, they called her and told her they're still working on it. Then when she called them back, they told her they cannot rent it to her. It has to do something with her credit, but they can show her a lesser apartment for the price that they are asking her to pay. So I told her, no, that's fraud. What they trying to do is a bait and switch. Give you
discrimination.
something for a greater price and then downsize it to a lesser price so they can get more funding when they go on ahead and try to do their bait and switch scam.
See what you said, Charles? That's discrimination. That's what I'm saying. It's You're discriminating against me because you're trying to tell me I need to give you government ID information. I'm not acting on behalf of the government today. I might have yesterday and I might tomorrow, but not today, Satan.
And I'm not acting as a creditor for the United States who handles debit obligations because that's the same thing as acting like a debtor. There's no difference. I don't have a delegation of authority to do either.
And it's discrimination if they tell me, no, we're not going to let you get this car because we can't identify if you're a government agent. Excuse me, bitch.
and then they're only using the credit debtor relationship to meet their obligation because it's really just trust and trade, right?
Right.
But again, what do you say when, just like the guy with the free car, he went in there with all the sparkling credit and they would feel like, nah, and he still had to end up challenging the bank. You might as well challenge the bank up front.
But
yeah, if you was
RFRA tells you directly they can discriminate against you anyway because it's your religious right and because they're receiving grant funding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you have to know that, so we could tell them that. So that's the reason why I Charles says I know Malika don't like that. It's not that I don't like it. Like I said, there are people who like it, so-called fix their credit. They have an 850 and then they still get denied because of discrimination. So all I'm saying, and false advertising and bait and switch and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna come up front with it. When that man told me, like I showed y'all, I ordered the truck. I ordered a Ford truck. They sent it to the dealership. I didn't tell them to send it to the dealership. The dealership called me. The dealership is telling me that my car, it says your truck. It says Malika, your truck. So they already claiming it's mine. Great.
already yours.
So when I come for it and I say, give me my car, if they don't, what is that called?
That's theft.
That's theft.
That's theft.
Okay. Malika, your truck is going to be built the third week in February 28th, 27th is when they say it's going to start building. So it might be ready in time for my Earth Day.
You know what? I did the same thing. I did the same thing in Florida, and I was just experimenting, but I didn't know how to follow up with that. But
I don't have any idea either. All I did was order the car. They
That's
sent
what
it to
I
the
did.
dealership, and the dealership sent me an email. I'll show y'all again.
Oh, they called me. So the guy,
They called me too.
The guy almost stalked me, like called me days and days for weeks. And I finally
there?
went in. I test drove it.
Expedition.
Yep, mine too. So, all right, I won't mind. Because when I went, my daughter went with me. We went to go test drive it. I held up the sign. It says sold on it. I said, take a picture of me with this sold sign on it. I don't know what to do next, but
Malika, did you have to do it down?
no, I just
ordered it online.
I
Listen to me
ordered it
very
from,
carefully.
I went into the Ford office and ordered it. The lady sat down with me. I ordered everything.
I did it on .com.
Did they do the credit app or no?
No credit
They tried
app.
to send it to me. And they said, let me search his name.
Now, what they did for me was I did have the license, and so I did show them that. So I was like, all right, well, you already.
That's where you fucked up right
That's
there.
fine.
That's where you fucked up right there. Because when
Exactly.
they asked me for that, my response to him was, I'm not buying it under the business.
Right, right.
I'm not buying it as a bit. Why did it never show it to me?
Yeah, I caught it. I said I shouldn't have given them the license. I should have just ordered it. So that was just practice. It's all good. I'm a practice.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing. I'm just practicing too.
So I can learn as I go. Make perfect.
So you can make your own ID.
Okay, here it goes.
Their name, etc., and they're still gonna know. They can still get the social.
That's true.
Well, that is okay. So, like I told you guys, it came in upside down. But here's the order number. It says
Turn
what
them
I
to
ordered:
four.
4x4 order summary. It has a code, an order code, a price level, the year, model, everything. Okay, and he's gonna tell me, please review, sign, and return with a copy of your business license. There's no S. I hate when they put the S here. It's not a driver's license. It's a driver license. Like you're the chauffeur. Okay.
Right.
And then hear what he says. I will get it ordered, meaning my truck, once returned. I never returned it. Never. I sent him a text because we're talking through phone. He called me. We're talking through text. We're talking through email. So he sends me this through email. I send him a text saying, hey, I only got one page and it says 2 of 2. Can you send me page 1? Okay. In text. He never responded. I sent it again, the same question in email. Can I get a new copy that reflects it's 1 page of 1 page then? Right? Also, I do not intend to use this as a business corporate motor vehicle. So I will not provide a business license. I hope this dealer does not discriminate against non-drivers.
Yeah, they're not gonna respond. You have to call them
Oh,
in.
they responded back. Malika, your truck is being built on the 26th.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well,
Malika,
I'm still gonna go for mine, even though I did show them a license. I'm
Look
just
right
gonna
here.
be like, it was an error because it's not gonna be used for business purposes. And
right
but
there?
That truck was in the showroom. I test drove it. So
See, order
Like
confirmed.
another
Scheduled
dealership.
production.
What'd you
Your
say?
vehicle is scheduled for production.
That's it.
We are
That's it.
excited to let you know your. How many times could they use your? Your,
That's
your.
that's
So you think that you're gonna not have to fill out any more financial
I
paperwork?
have no idea. I have
Okay,
no
I'm
idea
telling you
because the
what.
way I'm looking at it, look, they even gave me my VIN. God, why I didn't even see this?
They're gonna send you more paper.
I would lean that damn VIN, Malika.
I never seen. I didn't see this, so I'm glad we're opening it.
Yeah,
I
you
did
better
not.
lean that bitch.
But y'all see it right there. Y'all see I'm not making this shit up. I can't believe they gave me the VIN.
Ford Motors.
They know if I was
Hey.
an SPC, I could lean this bitch.
I'd lean that bitch.
Not
I
a
put
SPC.
Oh my God. I'm
You
gonna do
bought
a
Ford
lawsuit
Motor.
against the VIN. I'm gonna do
you
a
lean the
lawsuit against
VIN
the
as
VIN.
soon as you get it. Mechanics lien, UCC, whatever.
Someone's
Girl.
missing their
So
shirt because I
mechanically
missed
need-
the mailman. Sorry, guys. Damn, I should have put it off from last night. Okay, I didn't see the VIN was there, guys. Hello, they weren't telling me. I don't care. I'm not afraid of the paperwork, right? Because I know the paperwork is just to keep track if I'm engaged in interstate or foreign commerce. I am not. I'm not engaged in transportation. I am not the motor carrier. So let's get to this next part. Intrastate and interstate commerce. Are you guys finding this in your code? So this is like the fourth reference. So we got it in 15, 46, at 51. The provisions of this title shall apply. Check it. Look at who it applies to. Employers and workers other than railways and their workers engaged in intrastate and also interstate or foreign commerce. They telling you this is why the TSA had to say, well, we're not going to investigate you because I found the part of the TSA code that says this same shit.
You
And you
found it
don't need
on
a
the
license.
spot while they was playing with your
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Whenever they communicate with you, they give you a hammer to use against them because in their communication, they're going to use a section of the code that they're
Yeah.
operating under. And all you have to do is go, oh, that section of code you use it? Great. Let me go to the definition section of that code to see who it applies to. And
You're
you
lucky.
start seeing shit like employers, employees, Indian reservations. You're like,
What?
Like I said
You
before,
don't need a driver's license. Even if you go to the dealership, you don't test drive with a license. You just tell them.
they ask you for it though, because they
No,
want you to
we
show
didn't.
that you are engaging in business. Make you set
Oh,
yourself up.
some places might, but where we went, they never asked for the license. We just drive the car without any license showing.
I've only test driven a car once, and like I told y'all, it was my best friend from I met at 13 and lost track, and I just happened to go to a dealership, and he works there. I bought 2 cars. I was like, "Hey, friend, I'm coming back tomorrow. This car today is for my sister because she dragged me in here because her credit sucked, and she wanted me to be a co-signer. And when I showed up, they straight told her, you can't co-sign with your sister. She's gonna qualify by herself. That's a crime, ain't it? She came in there to buy a car, not me. I was with Sonny. I was with Sonny like this on my lap.
Yeah, but you know, we're all co-signers.
But I'm playing with my baby at the car dealership.
We're all co-signers because when you sign for that person, you're co-signing. But
Right, but what they told her is her credit was so low that she would drag me down if all I did was co-sign. I had to actually buy it by myself, and I didn't come to buy a car. So if you're selling me a car and you know it's for her, you're committing a crime. I think that's a crime. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's criminal activity. I'm just here for moral support, okay? But what happened was I did intentionally the year before fix my credit because I'm a mama now. I'm trying to be a upstanding citizen, right? Got my new baby. So let me fix my credit. I didn't fix it so I could get something or do something. That's just always how I have been, which is why people struggle with my classes, because my classes are not for when you're already struggling. My classes are when you're sitting there like, how can I adult today? But I realize a lot of people don't like to adult. So I fixed my credit. I already know how to do it. It's not an issue. I'm not concerned about it. Okay. And so it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I think it's potentially useless. Not saying that it's not a nice, what do you call it? Like safety wheel, right? Like what do people use it as? Like training wheels, right?
Yeah.
So you got it as backup in case you need to lean on it. I understand that's what people are doing. I've been there already. I'm past that. Right? So we about to see what this dealership is gonna do.
They're not gonna do it without a funding source, and that's that motherfucking social.
They could always make one up. They could always make one up. Okay. So engage in intrastate, also interstate made after established by, look, it say method of compensation, right? For whom? A rule of liability, got to be liable, or a method of compensation now exists under or may hereinafter be established by Congress of the United States. See, this is still Title 51 RCW, and they're talking about something being established by the Congress of the United States. Only to the extent that the payroll of such worker may and shall be clearly separable and distinguishable from the payroll of workers engaged in interstate and foreign commerce.
Yeah, Congress is allowing them to do this type of shit.
Right here on Title 51, where they define intrastate and interstate commerce. And then we get to the Department of Transportation. Now, this is the Interstate Commerce Act for Washington. Every state will have their own Interstate and Foreign Commerce Act, or Interstate Act, even if they don't call it and foreign. Everyone needs to find it. Everyone needs to find it, because this is what the title of this section actually is. Application to interstate and foreign commerce. Isn't that entertaining?
Yeah, because everything is by application. That's the only way they do their business.
By yeah, it has to be applicable to something. And once it's made applicable to something, it means it's not applicable to anything else. So when they give us a traffic ticket, guys, they're accusing us of being engaged in transportation. They have to prove that it's being applied to interstate and foreign commerce, do they not?
Yeah.
So do we have to prove that we weren't going that fast? Do we have to prove we weren't going that fast, guys?
We just have to
No.
prove that we weren't fucking doing commerce.
Do we have to prove that I was wearing my seatbelt?
No.
No.
Do I have to prove
I
that
plead the fifth.
I did have insurance?
I plead the fifth.
No.
You don't
Plead
need
the fifth.
insurance. Listen, insurance is only required after
Look,
an accident, not before.
look, it's for application to interstate and foreign commerce, the insurance. That's why they were talking, that's why it's right here. That's why it's under industrial insurance, that interstate and intrastate commerce. They're trying to tell you something. They're trying to tell you a pattern. They're trying to show you a pattern. I don't need insurance if I'm not engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. I don't need to have registration if I'm not involved in interstate and foreign commerce. I don't need to have a driver's license or a license plate if I'm not involved in interstate and foreign commerce. So I don't have to prove that I wasn't going that fast, that I did have insurance, that I left my registration at home, or I don't have to prove any of that shit if they don't prove that what they're doing is a application to interstate or foreign commerce.
How are we gonna
Malika.
how are we gonna railroad you though and say you can't defend yourself with that jargon?
Yeah, you can, but check it out. Do you know the finance charge take care of all that insurance? Take care of fire insurance.
I understand
accidental
that, but
insurance.
who's paying
Yeah.
the finance charge?
Well, the person who went to the dealership and got the automobile.
What person?
They're supposed to pay the.
It's paid for already up
Yeah.
front.
That's
supposed to be
why I don't
included.
understand why Charles said, when Charles says they're not going to give you anything without the funding, right? If it's pre-funded, what do you mean?
I think the fees are for the fiduciary.
I don't know who the fees are for, but I think it's for those
No,
engaged
that
in
finance charge,
foreign
and
commerce.
insurance, and all that shit is included. It's supposed to be included.
Right,
it
right. It's supposed to be included in the finance charge, but who's supposed to pay
They
the
are.
finance charge?
They ain't supposed to pay it.
Yeah, they're supposed to pay it.
That's all I want to know.
But
Everything is covered.
that's also for new cars though. So the insurance.
No, but every car.
No, but I understand, but I'm saying like when you purchase a car from a a private man or a private woman, and you still have to go and get it registered and you still have to get insurance. How does someone forego that? The insurance.
I'm not engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. I don't
You
know
just
how else
don't
to
have
say
to go
that to
get
you.
it.
All right. What'd you say?
You just don't have to go get it.
All right.
Malika, was this video popped up on my phone, and it said that about buying and selling merchandise, and they said a lot of the stores in Europe now you can walk into the store, they're not accepting cash, they're not accepting credit card, they cannot buy, sell, or any of that stuff. You just pick up whatever it is you eat, put it in your bag, and walk out. It says coming to America. That's what they said.
Oh,
That movie
right.
came out in like the 80s, right? Early 90s.
Malika said everybody is gonna be doing this, is gonna be joining her real soon, and that they're gonna say, "Welcome, y'all. I'm doing this."
Somebody said that's because you're scanned.
Right.
Well, they did say they know everyone who's walking through the door. So if they know you and you just come and pick up your stuff and walk
They
out,
know me in the biblical sense. They need to
I
chill
don't know
out.
if
I'm a
they
bad
do.
woman.
Me too.
They know you. They
I'm
know you.
married to the creator.
They know you through your MAC address.
They know you through that COVID shot.
Oh, they can scam you with that. Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's what.
Let me show you guys something. I know I keep pulling this out. Oh, where's my book? Okay. So someone asked about the insurance, and I'm gonna tell them what I told the car dealership. Okay, let me turn this down. Y'all can see this?
No.
Let me stop the stop screen for a brief second. Okay, can y'all see this now?
Yes.
Okay, so this dealership, Automotive Specialist Auto Sales, wanted to argue with me about taxes and insurance. And I kept telling them, this is not interstate and foreign commerce. When they try to say, "Oh, everybody's responsible for taxes." I told my son, if they insist, we're going to sue them. You know what else they did not insist about? After I told them that we're not responsible for the taxes, they never mentioned that we couldn't leave the lot without insurance. Because the reason for the insurance is the reason for the motherfucking taxes. And I'm not engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. I am not the transporter. You are.
Yeah, they are the initial transporter.
So I'm not paying no, and so this check is them trying to bribe us to not sue them after they let us leave the dealership without insurance.
I remember that. That's when they told your son after they purchased the car that they were giving him a payment back that he earned.
Yeah, what did they say on it? They said overpayment.
Right, overpayment. I remember that.
Is what they're gonna put on it. Overpayment. Because the guy goes, "Oh, if you don't think you're responsible for the taxes, you could just pay them and then sue." And so I was like, my son was standing right behind me. I said, "Didn't we already talk about that in the car, son?" I didn't even have to turn around. I know he's 6'3" self is behind me like, that's just what me and my mom spoke about in the car before we came in here. Because I already know that whatever he's paying for the car is already too much. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it was $5. That was too much. Because he's not responsible to pay anything. Why? Because he's not using the car for Uber. He's not using it for Spokane Eats. He's not hauling passengers or whatever. Yeah, or hazardous material. Unless you count the fart in his belly. Okay.
Well, I definitely want to get a refund on all the Progressive insurance payments that I've made.
Why? You are the one who pretended or were actually acting in interstate and foreign commerce. You're who decided that. You decided I'm engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. See right there, industrial insurance says it right in your face.
You made a mistake. It's always, it's okay to make a mistake. You can get paid by mistake. In Georgia, they allow you to get back your money.
It's right there.
If you paid a
Just
mistake.
falling behind something.
Oh, or at least I can cancel it and not,
Exactly. So you can stop it moving forward. You can stop the bleeding moving forward. But everybody always thinks, "Oh, I'm going to go backwards and I'm going to get all this stuff." And it's not that it's impossible, but you got to stop the hemorrhaging today. You have to get your comprehension right today. And you have to know where in your codes support what is it you're saying. Because when you don't use codes, I will say this. They like to respond back and say, "Oh, you didn't cite any authority or cite any law or whatever." And that's why I just cite it. I'm not engaged. I don't require any industrial insurance because I'm not engaged in any interstate or intrastate or foreign commerce. And you see right here, they tell you the application is to interstate and foreign commerce. And then the reason why I'm telling everybody to find this part is because of this section here. So in the state statute under transportation, it says this chapter applies to persons and motor vehicles engaged in interstate or foreign commerce to the full extent permitted by the Constitution and laws of the United States. Hello.
Ding, ding,
ding. If I'm not doing this, I cannot be required to have insurance. I'm not required to have even a driver's license because I'm not getting the car to engage in a business.
And if they're registered, if they're asking for those things, she goes ahead and submits them. She's creating a record of accident and incident.
Yes, they're going to say, "Look, she bought the car using her business license, which created the presumption that she's acquiring it for business use, which is what justifies taxation."
And that has to be insured because if someone calls on that, if she becomes spiritually aware and she calls them back on that, that insurance will kick in and pay and settle the matter. Not on her side, but their side.
Yes, it's gonna settle their matter. So I don't know what I don't care what the dealership does. I have no idea what they're going to do. But we gonna all fuck around and find out. They keep using that word your car, your car. I mean, I could sue them for fraud because I'm gonna rely. They're gonna say, oh no, we lied when we called it your car. But I relied on that lie and brought myself here and incidented myself and created damages and all this stuff to come here to get it. And now
they can't put a lien on the automobile either because it's not over 10,001 pounds either.
Right.
it's totally there's no
It's an
except for them
assumption.
assigning a VIN that could potentially be used for interstate and foreign commerce. There is absolutely no presumption already created that that particular vehicle that's yet to be built is for interstate and foreign commerce use.
What's the deal for the lien on 10,000 over 10,000?
So if you look up Title 49, it talks about transportation and it talks about the motor vehicle, right? And you don't have a motor vehicle.
Right.
When I look it up in Georgia, it says the motor vehicle has to be over 10,001 pounds to be registered.
Well, they say it right here. Look.
And the damn motor vehicle forms tell you that nobody can fill out that form unless they sign on the penalty of perjury that they're the owner of the automobiles.
But
Who's
guess
gonna
what,
sign
though?
that shit?
Most people are going to
on the
sign
title,
because
they-
people don't care about law. They don't care about truth. They just want the thing. I just want what I want. I'll sign up for anything. And then I'll say, I was forced. I was forced.
It's actually called panning.
And on the titles, they have that fake number on it.
The 10,001 pound.
Yeah.
There you go. Everybody
And
riding
you
around
know
in a
what?
Golden
Your
now.
regular car, your
You're not in
regular
a
car, who is
Corolla.
that?
You're
Right.
in a box truck. You're not in a Ford Expedition. You're in a city bus. You're not right.
Just tell them you got a farm vehicle.
You're not in a F-150. You're in a wrecker. You're in a tow truck. You're in a tank, maybe. Because under certain states, the definitions in motor vehicle, it includes words like tank. Did y'all know that? Did y'all ever see
Yes,
that?
I saw that.
I'm like, a tank?
And
How
they're
is my
all
car in the same category as a tank?
they're all subject to the commandeering of the governor to get the hell out of Dodge because they're in a state of emergency.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And look at what the Transportation Commission can make complaints over, guys. Because remember, every time they pull you over and give you a ticket, they pretend that it's from the Department of Transportation and they're enforcing some code on the Department of Transportation. You see right here, it says the Commission for the Department of Transportation may complain of interstate rates. The commission shall have power. It is hereby made its duty to investigate all interstate rates, fares.
So
Somebody was talking about the toll booths, charges, classifications, or rules or practices in relation thereto for or in relation to the transportation, hear me out, of persons or property where any act in relation thereto shall take place where within this state
So the
and
whole
when the same are in the opinion of the commission excessive or discriminatory or are levied or laid in violation of an act of Congress entitled this.
so the whole lien is fraud anyway.
Guess
Right.
what this is? Guess what this act is? This is the original federal
1887.
interstate commerce. They're telling you in the state RCW that they're implementing the federal Interstate Commerce Act under Title 49. As soon as I found this part, which I'm imploring everyone right now, go find it. Even if you search just this section right here and put in the name of the state, you should be able to find the part of the code that has this section. It's very important for us to make that connection of the dots that in your state statute, they are implementing federal acts. You need to know that.
So when I looked it up, Malika, guess what it also talks about? The chief licensing officer. Guess who that
Yes.
is? Guess who that is? The commissioner over your motor vehicle division.
Of course. This
He's-
same commission right here.
Yes, because what happened is if you look at a citation, any citation, go down to the fine print, flip it over, a copyright or something, you're gonna see it says DOT.
Yes. Same thing on the driver's license is going to say DOT. Florida one right here.
And then it says on top of the citation, it's going to tell you that that citation was authorized by the Department of Driver Services.
Okay, so here in my on my Florida one says that I have a class E, which is any single vehicle up to 8,000 pounds. It's signed by the executive director of the department, the DHSMV, was Department of what? Something safe, highway safety and motor vehicle.
Highway safety. Yeah.
Highway safety. It means I'm
Because
a
it's
motor
all about
carrier.
safety, guys. It's all about your safety. It's a public safety thing. So if you have not injured anybody in the public and has caused harm to anyone or anybody's safety, then I'm supposed to be talking to you
They
anyway.
over here pulling you
The
over.
Federal Safety Motor Carriers Act.
Yes, all
That's
of it
what it
is
is, the
enforcing the
federal
Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Act
Yeah.
of 64 or 84, something like that. So anyway, it's also signed by the director of driver licenses, driver, no S, licenses. Yep, operation of a motor vehicle constitutes consent to any sobriety test required by law. To a driver, though.
Real briefly, man, add to your wisdom. I just had a quick emotional comment
Go ahead.
relative to the subject matter. I actually found in chapter 223 of Nevada Revised Statutes, it's 223.200, which shows that the governor, that's the section for governor. The governor is charged with carrying out the Highway Safety Act.
Yes.
What I realize is that the Highway Safety Act is Public Law 89.
Public law.
I'm giving you the
Public law.
where it stems
Wow.
from. I'm giving you where it stems from. Public Law 89-564. But the one for the Motor Vehicle Safety Act is Public Law 89-563, which is the precursor to the Highway Safety Act. It's 80 stat like 317. It's a couple pages before it.
Okay.
So the Highway Safety Act doesn't specifically say interstate commerce. It's 7 pages. I read it. However, the other one before it, right, the 89-563 does, and it's the precursor to that one. They were both acts that were made on the same day, which was September 9th, 1966. And then I found a section in the state law that the governor is supposed to work hand in hand. The federal government works hand in hand with the state. That's why the DMV even exists, is to carry out those programs by the federal government. And it does say also definition of interstate commerce.
Yes.
The first thing it says is commerce.
Yes.
Inside or outside of the state. And then I flipped that to research within the state. When I look deeper into within the state with the legislative intent, you realize that that was only for trucks that are coming in and out the state. It's in the sales and use tax, so it's saying
yes,
trucks that just stop by.
Industrial, so for those industrial trucks,
they don't have to. They don't. Certain trucks that come in the state and leave, they don't have to pay, like a sales tax or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Plus, they said program. You don't have to participate in the program.
Right. You don't have to
if
participate
you don't
in the
qualify.
program. But the policy officers are not trained from the codes. They're trained by attorneys that need them to not know. They actually need people to not know this. They need the people being kidnapped, stolen from, coerced to not know. And they require the people doing the coercing, doing the kidnapping, okay, to not know. And these calls are to make everyone knowing. First, you yourself know, and then you let the agents know. And you don't act like they know, but they just are not doing it. Because you will find that yourself to be wrong. They don't know it. You call them up, you're thinking, oh, I'm talking to the Department of Transportation director. They're going to know exactly what I mean when I say pursuant to RCW 8180.370. It's only applicable to interstate and foreign commerce, and there's no evidence on the record that I was so involved unless you have something else. They're going to be like, 81 what? And you're going to be talking to somebody at the commission. Most people, because this doesn't actually say the Interstate and Foreign Commerce Act codified at Title 49, they're not going to see it. This is it. I paused when I got to this part. I copied this and I put it in the search engines, and I found it. I found it is the act right here. They spell it out for you. Title 49 CFR Part 380. The definitions are at CFR 350.5. Yes, 350.5. That's what the definitions are. That's where the definitions of commercial motor vehicle and stuff like that. And this is why, again, do y'all understand why it's an issue when people who are not in a vehicle more than 10,000 pounds, who were not engaged in interstate commerce at the time of the transaction, call one of us up and go, help me. I have a court date next week. Were you engaged in interstate and foreign commerce?
Stop
Were
laughing
you?
at them. It ain't funny.
Was that Charles?
Stop laughing at them. It ain't funny.
Right. It is kind of funny.
It is funny.
Because it just lets us know you didn't read it, they didn't read it. Everybody's going to show up and pretend like they know what's going on, right? I wasn't going that fast. I paid the ticket, or I mean, whatever
done
other
fucked
stuff
up.
we say.
They done fucked up talking to you.
Yeah. Okay. So they tell you it's an act, this act here, and look at this, the acts are mandatory or supplementary thereto. So that's like what Arad was just saying. The act that came before, the act that came right after, the things that are surrounding it, they're relevant. And it's a mandatory to those acts. Okay. And then they tell you the Interstate Commerce Commission. Does your state have an Interstate Commerce Commission or Interstate Commerce Act enforcing some type of other commerce commission? Maybe they might call it the what do they call it here? What the utilities and transportation is what they call it. They have a utilities and transportation commission.
Public Utilities Commission of Ohio around here.
Okay, sometimes together they'll say utilities and transportation commission.
We got some Ohio people, territory folks up in here. Awesome.
Oh yeah, lots of people here in Ohio.
Awesome.
Smashing them
At
too.
least 4 people that get on regularly are near the corporation of Ohio.
All right.
All right.
All right. As am I right now in Cleveland. So, all right, Ohio. But I also in
Okay.
Florida territory.
Awesome. We got a few people here in near the Florida nation as well. Okay.
All right.
So the commission shall apply by petition. You see what their petitions are supposed to be for?
Mm-hmm.
They shall apply by petition to the Interstate Commerce Commission for relief. Oh my God, Trinity did not keep up her financial responsibility. We're going to need to do a petition against her through the commission. Trinity's going to be like, why am I getting mail from y'all? Well, ma'am, you were driving in the state. Okay. And may present to the Interstate Commerce Commission all facts coming to its knowledge as to violations of the rulings, orders, regulations that the commission, or as to violations of the said act to regulate commerce or acts amendatory thereto for supplemental thereto. They still have to be regulating commerce,
How
guys.
am I in the state?
Yes, right? How did I get in the state? And I'm going to
Right.
show you guys how they tell us what we get in the state. It's because let's go back up here. It says in that same section, in that same transportation regulation code, that public service law invoked. That's why when Ara was saying, oh, it's in public law this and public law that, I was like, oh, great, wonderful. Public service law invoked. Public service. Were you providing public service when you were going to the store, going to ballet practice, picking your kids up from basketball? Were you in public service?
No.
But you think you got a court date next week. This is why we send these disqualification letters in private to let them know, look, see, we ain't gonna do this bullshit, see? You ain't gonna make me come out my bed, get dressed, drive to your kangaroo shit when we all know I was not involved in anything regulated by an act to regulate commerce approved February 4th, 1887. Okay? So we ain't gonna do this, Judge. But y'all don't want to talk like that to these people who leading us around by the nose. People want to snap off to their exes and shit, their neighbors and shit, so they could put it up on a.
Let me answer
TikTok.
that for you. Let me answer that for you. What admissible evidence is
Yes.
being used to make the legal determination
Yes.
that this subject private property was in the state?
Yes.
Am I that person that is subject to that statute as defined in that statute?
What is the record that supports the underlying obligation?
Yeah, that I was engaged in interstate or foreign commerce.
Because that's all it says it's applicable to.
Is that all automobile even?
Because if they
qualified
don't
to
have
be
the
regu-
record, what you showed up to court for, besides to make a fool out of yourself, let me get that out the way. Besides to make yourself a jackass, what are you doing in court?
Man, you need to play that video for them again, Malika, with the judge said, listen, if I know you ain't got no jurisdiction over me, I'm not even coming out.
I'm not getting out of bed, she said.
That's one of the best videos dropping gems I've ever.
For real.
I want to see that. Which one is that?
It's only 8 minutes long. I don't know if did we hashtag it when we put it up on, I'll give a shirt to anybody who could find back that video on Lawful Living. It's like I
already
said,
got
it's
it,
8 minutes
Malika.
long. It's about,
I can
is
find
it,
it.
it might have been hashtag jurisdiction. It might have been Hashtag. But let me tell you, it's a video where, at least how I saw it, the man showing it, he was trying to make fun of so-called sovereign citizen. The woman called herself a bae. When she got on the mic, she was talking about I self am law or something like that. So he was trying to disparage her. And even though he was being silly, he was right. He's like, listen to what the judge tells her. The judge told her, if I thought so, why you show up to say you don't have jurisdiction over me? Of course I fucking have jurisdiction over you, dummy. You showed up. Because when the wrong mail comes to your house, do you open it, scare the shit out of yourself and go, oh man, now I gotta go do this thing? Is that what you do?
She says, if I thought that someone didn't have jurisdiction over me, I wouldn't get out of bed and come here today. I wouldn't get out of bed for it.
So when
But you-
people start saying me, well, let me explain why I'm still going. Let me act like I care. Come on, guys. Show anybody this. Application to interstate if transportation is only applicable, you can't get me in the public safety building. I'm not coming. Public service law invoked in all respects to which the commissioner has power and authority, applications and complaints may be made and filed with it, process issued, hearings held, opinions, orders, and decisions made and filed, petitions for hearing, filed and acted upon, and petitions for writs of review to the Superior Court. You think you in a real court. You're in the Transportation Commission's court. Appeals or mandates filed with the Supreme Court or under Court of Appeals of this. I ain't doing none of that. I'm not appealing none of your shit. Because I'm not going. We're not going to play this game. Some people still like playing games. Some of us are bored and we need some excitement. So we go pretending like, instead of reading, right? We let fear consume us. We start asking other dummies on social media platforms that have no knowledge of anything what they should do. Then we say, but the court date's tomorrow. But I don't care when you have your public service. Since I'm not a public servant, I ain't coming. Now here's a link back to the ATF, Title 27 USC, right here, controlled substances, alcohol. A person or employer operating, look at you guys, because they accuse you of being a person operating in the state when they give you a traffic ticket, a transportation ticket, a person or employer operating as a motor carrier. That is what this says on the license, motor carrier. It's a motor carrier license. Shall comply with the requirements. It's in Washington now. It's in the Washington. We don't go by federal. You dummy. Yes, you do. Because the codes of Washington clearly say that they are implementing compliance with the requirements of the United States Department of Transportation federal motor carrier safety regulations as contained in Title 49. Judge, you're disqualified because you don't have any evidence on the record that I am a person or employer operating as a motor carrier that's required to comply with the requirements of Title 49.
I have an emotional outburst question to your previous statement before you got on this, if you don't mind, because I would like to discuss it with loved ones, right? So what was presented to me was, okay, so you don't open the mail or whatever. However, what if people still want to move forward with some forcible entry detainer or stuff like that or whatever by you not opening the mail and stuff like that or whatever? So
they're trying to come to your house, and your house is located where?
Yeah,
they're trying to come to your house in the state or outside the state?
Of course, it's outside the state, outside the county, all of that. You know what I mean? However,
that's why we got to be preemptive, like I keep telling everybody. Notice your sheriff today. Do not wait till that's why my credit was already good when my sister tried to get me as a if I didn't do that a year or two before, it would be no good for me in the moment. I would have probably been worse than my sister.
Let me rain on that.
You understand? There's people who have already done it. There are people who've met up with the sheriff, shook their hand. The sheriff realized, like, fuck, I didn't actually read the Constitution.
Correct. So you're saying be preemptive. Yes, McGrail. You're saying be preemptive, though, is what you... Got you.
I say you kind of pretty much know what the fuck what kind of mail's coming already. And if you don't know, you can just Google the goddamn address and figure it out. So you know who to respond to and who not to.
This is what happens when they come to evict you. Okay.
I dropped the video, Malika. If you wanna, I dropped it in the chat.
Oh, the one I was looking for?
some of the
Yeah.
stuff you gotta respond to, right?
Look at this.
Yeah, they did a food yesterday. Alta evict, same day eviction. And who are they evicting? Not me, because I'm still here.
Hey, she's on. Yay. Hey. I wasn't sure if you were on or not, but this is because she was prepared. She was preemptive. She sent out notices. She got to say, did your boss get my correspondent? Did you come with proof that that this property is in the state, that I'm bound to your codes? I mean, I asked you 2 months ago or whatever. Okay. It's powerful to say, I've already corresponded with your boss. Here in Washington, it says that the sheriff is the chief executive officer of the county.
I'm glad we got this on the record so I can share so it can be shared.
So
You know
boss
what
to
I mean?
boss,
So preemptive.
CEO to CEO, you're not
Okay.
going to ignore my notices. Our daughter sent a notice to the sheriff for an eviction. What was it? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? All of a sudden, Monday, they got notice of intent to sue. They opened up the email like they just got it.
I needed this Zoom. It's fine. So I said I
Okay.
just wanted to get it on the record.
Yes, I appreciate that. Okay. This is the title 27, the ATF, with the alcohol, the tobacco, because they presume that you're going to be transporting substances, period, to be manufactured or sold or whatever nonsense. And they enforce it under several sections of related code. Title 49, transportation in general. Title 27 for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That's why they try to act like if you get a firearm in your car, that means you're transporting, right? It's like, it's 1 or 2 guns, motherfucker. It's not a whole truck. Okay. I'm not doing a shipment. Okay. Right. So they tell you commercial motor vehicle operations, what?
I'm not in the arms race. It's just
A person or employer, again, operating, a person or employer who begins or conducts commercial motor vehicle operations without having a controlled substance and alcohol testing program that is in compliance with the requirements of the Interstate Commerce Act of the United States is subject to a penalty. They be trying to subject you to the penalty. They be trying to subject us to the penalty, and we just be taking it. Then they tell you, I brought back in Title 27, since basically they're referencing alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Personal property, look at it. Personal property and carriers subject to seizure. They be stealing y'all shit. Y'all be like, how do I get my guns back? Well, were you a motor carrier? Were you engaged in interstate and foreign commerce? Personal property may be seized by a duly authorized ATF officer. Y'all be letting the sheriffs take y'all shit and be like, what can I do about it? Well, were they designated ATF officer at the time? Then look, the officers are empowered to enforce under a federal code for explosive firearms, liquor traffic, contraband cigarettes, liquor. And then we come back around to Title 26. And what's Title 26, y'all? Taxes. You have to be engaged in commerce, which is the only taxable activity for them to be able to steal your car, put it in the impound. The impound's like, well, we got to get a driver's license and registration and proof of insurance before you get your car to impound. What? I'm going to hold you for theft, grand theft. Because if you don't have any proof that I was engaged in interstate and foreign commerce under an act to regulate commerce approved February 4th, 1887, you're not supposed to be even looking at my car, much as having it as impound. And you can tell this to tow truck companies in advance because there's a list of them. How many tow truck companies are in the county near you? 4, 6?
Well, Malika, it don't even matter because sometimes they go way out of the county, right? So you have to look at your state code that says non-consensual towing.
Yes.
Because they need consent for everything, guys. They have to have
Yes.
a freaking affidavit with the
They have
one
to
that
have it
regulates
in
them.
their hand, according to New York. New York says they have to have
Georgia
it
too.
in their hand.
Georgia too. They always have to have the document that
The
gives them the
consent.
authority.
Exactly. Then we go to the reason why, like, the whole thing about the business is important. The engaging in regulated activity for the purposes of taxation at the pleasure of the governor is because here, activities constituting business and activities not constituting business. So what are activities? This is actually the section, that's what it's called in Washington. So you guys might want to, if you search this, constituting doing business,
or doing business in the state or something like that, you will see this equivalent come up. Activities not constituting doing business, because we're going to contrast that with activities that constitute doing business. And they define this under the Washington Codes, Washington Administrative Codes, under public disclosure. So this, for people who have this section, public disclosure, this is a great place to send a records request, is it not? To ask them if they have a record to support that you're doing business in any state. See? Because what constitutes doing business in the state of Washington? A corporation or business entity. That's what you first have to be. A corporation or business entity is doing business in the state of Washington for the purpose of public officers and agencies. Look who they can regulate.
And what people have to
Doesn't
also
that go
realize
back up
too.
to here? Who can they make rules for?
Now, for your automobiles, guys, listen. You know that everything you obtain is res property. Right?
Yeah, but my res, not their res.
Right. It's yours, right? So if they try to take your stuff, you just have to notify them that, listen, there might have been a mistake. Because first of all, you came onto private property. You didn't have no damn affidavit, no consensual towing, right? From the owner.
Unless I was sleepwalking, I never gave it to you.
Yes. So they know about this stuff, and they have a license, guys, to do these towing things. So you have to realize what is going on. They're the one that's doing the business, not you.
Yes.
So you go after them for not following their regulatory compliance.
Yep.
And you can ask them for the record. Just call up your state insurance commissioner and ask them, hey, does any company that's doing business in the state has to be have an insurance? Do they have to have a license? And they're gonna tell you yes.
Yep.
You tell them what happens when they violate that, and they're gonna tell you you request a record. You have 30 days, and they gave me the code, and I got the record the next fucking day. I'm serious. They have to comply with the license, else they're gonna lose it.
Yes.
Yes.
So look at the regulatory agency that's overseeing that towing, even in the county, because you have to realize everybody is doing it for pecuniary purposes, right? Everybody. So the court can't even get involved because it's a conflict of interest, because they're also profiting from this shit.
Yeah.
Okay? They're giving up the license, right?
And
So
they're
how can they
mistraining the
administer-
policy officers intentionally.
There you go. So everybody's getting paid except who?
Us.
Uh,
And that's why
yeah.
everybody's trying to bust in the back door to Treasury Direct.
So it's even here in Trinity near Georgia, it said that for the bank to delegate that separate entity, the tow truck company, do that repossession, it's considered to be a breach of the peace.
It is a breach of peace. Shit, listen, the Castle Doctrine tell you your car is an extension of your home. You bust a shot. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody just beat a case for busting a shot when they tried to evict him out of living in their car, because it said that same thing. It says the Castle Doctrine, because he's living in his car. So that means his car is his castle. He has the right to shoot your ass.
Yeah, it's an extension of your home. That's why you can travel with the damn gun in there, and you know what I'm saying?
They're like, oh, is this gun registered? I plead the fifth. Are you registered? Okay. In determining whether a corporation or business entity is doing business in the state, the commission, gotta always have a commission regulating them, will take into consideration the following non-exclusive list of indicators. So that's that test of those minimum contacts. Appointing an agent for service of process. Wow. The all caps name, I've never been appointed as an agent for the all caps name. I've never appointed someone else, including myself.
Well, they
I've never
always do.
appointed myself, and I've never appointed anyone else
But
for service
Malika,
of process.
What people don't realize is some of the things that they sign up for, like the voter registration shit, that gives them presumption. You know what I mean? That you want
Yeah, when you fill out the
participate.
census, it gives them presumption.
Yes, because the census is on the Department of Commerce, right?
It
So
says it
how
right
do
on
they-
the bottom on the front page of the
Yeah. So
of
how
the
did you
application.
get my private information?
It is public department of
The county. Yeah, the county sent it to me.
Are you
What?
trying to say that a corporation or business entity is doing business through this address?
Right? Do you think this is the business over here? Like you think we running?
I need the record. I need the record of the
How do you
registered
see
business
all the
or
tax
corporate
records?
entity doing
Yes.
business in the state of Washington registered to this address. That's what I need. Give me that record.
Show me the statements.
Yeah, show me the tax returns. That's why I'm suing the tax collector. I asked them, where's the tax returns? Where's the assessment that's supposed to be under verified, supposed to be under penalty of perjury? Where's the assessment?
Malika, you can get them now.
I already filed against them in December. They're already
Okay. No, because I was going to
What
give
first?
you this. I found this thing about the IRS. It talks about if they come at you for anything, you request a record, and if they don't do it, they can get in serious trouble. I gotta find it. I'll
Yes.
send it to you.
Thank you for confirming. The request of the record is what kicks their ass. Not us sitting here gnashing our teeth, scaring the shit of ourselves, crying on each other's shoulder. The record request. You asked them for the record that supports the underlying obligation. That's what wins the case.
Not
The
only
reason
that,
I have a
Malika,
record
guess what they're
is
doing?
business.
They're misrepresenting the IRS that they're IRS agents because
Yep.
that Department of Revenue in the county is not an extension of the IRS. So they're
They just
misrepresenting the
But
agent.
what they put on the Department of Revenue form when people are buying a business that they think is a house, okay? What they do is they put on the form that it's enforcing an IRS Title 26 code. But where's their delegation of authority? Okay,
They're
so
not
let's
even
look at what constitutes doing business. Give rise to, look at it. If it conducts continuous or substantial activities in Washington state of such character as to give rise to a legal obligation. Boom. I don't have a tax obligation if I'm not a corporation or entity doing business in the state of Washington. That's why that dealership that want to ask me for my driver license could go kick rocks because only businesses require licensing. Does everybody understand that? Only a business requires licensing. What business are you doing out of your car? Who wants to answer the business they're doing out of their car?
That's right.
Is it a foreign business or just any business? Because I think it's just a foreign business.
A publicly registered business under the laws of.
On ass and it's foreign.
Yeah, you hauling foreign ass.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to be doing a business out of the situation. The car, the house, the boat. Okay. Even with your children, the reason why you have to be a foster parent. Don't foster parents get paid? Don't they get tax breaks and stipends and stuff like that? That's affecting interstate and foreign commerce. So child support, child custody, it's all in there. So don't tell me I'm a good mom, I'm a good dad. That don't mean nothing. Are you engaged? Are you getting paid to be with your kid? 'Cause if you're not getting paid to be with your kids by the state, they can't drag you into court to ask you to do anything under their authority. Okay. In determining whether a corporation is doing business in Washington, here's what it is. Availing yourself of the privilege. Do private people have privileges?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Or do we have dominion?
Dominion.
They
Well,
said for the purpose of the privilege.
They include privileges, something rights, privileges, and all.
I
that
don't give a damn about rights or privileges. I have dominion.
Dominion.
I have dominion and I have authority. I don't
Yeah.
have rights and privileges per se.
Privilege is a life, is a liberty.
Yeah, I don't have liberties. I have freedom. That's what all the attorneys, including the guy that I appreciate that wrote Jurisdictionary, he's an attorney still. So he still does a lot of attorney speak and think. And he is afraid as well of the word freedom. They like liberty. They don't like freedom. But I am free.
Oh, that's it.
And I have freedom. And I have dominion. And I have free dominion. That's the smushing together of freedom and dominion. Okay? I have free dominion. I'm not exercising the right of conducting business when I get a house or when I get a car or when I had my children or when I got an apartment. I was not exercising the privilege of conducting business. Even when you go get an apartment, don't they ask you for your driver's license? Why? Why do they ask you for a business license to live somewhere?
Poppy, I will go upstairs now.
Why did they ask you for a business license, guys? To just live somewhere.
Because you're part of the military.
Right. And you might just be temporarily stationed there as a resident, right?
Yes.
To get that federal funding.
They want to get that federal funding.
That credit line.
Operate, what does it say here? Registering as a corporation in Washington.
And they always need that application, just like an app on the phone, to get that grant.
So let me ask you guys a question. Where it says purposely availing itself of the privilege, would this create a record? Would there be a record of this? What about this? Appointing an agent? Would this create a record? How about this? Registering as a corporation? Would this create a record? Operating business locations? Would there be a record of this? Hiring and employees? Would there be a record? Purchasing or selling goods or services in Washington?
that
Yep.
tax assessment, maybe
All of
operating
the
in
above.
right? So all of these
Water
things
bill.
would create a record. They're telling you that the commission that is supposed to hold this record, if this commission is asked if they have a record that you yourself intentionally, knowingly, and willingly did any of these things, and it comes back and it says, I have that. Are you going to court next week, or are you sending in the we not have that response? What are
We
you
not
doing?
have that. We
Are
not
you
have
going?
that.
Are you still showing up to court? Some people's the answer is gonna be yes. I'm still gonna go. I'm not a
Not
business.
me.
Even if you did business, if the actual subject of being in court is not the subject of it, it still is not valid, right?
Boom. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I put that quote down in there. That same exact quote.
Yeah,
If
that's
the
important to
business
know.
you're doing is not the subject of the
matter.
action, right? So they trying to say you're doing a business because you showed them a driver's license. But what business?
And I guess I could also
Is my business the subject of this community? Oh no, well, you don't have a business. Well then what the hell am I doing here? Just because I have a driver's license don't mean I was operating under the business at the time.
right.
Right? So that leads us to our minimum contacts. I know I've been promising to get to this section so much the last 2 weeks, but we had to go over this constituting doing business so you could recognize that when they're saying that these minimum contacts are created, you have to know what activity is supposed to be created by those minimum contacts, because merely having them is not what activates them. Having a driver's license is not what means that you're always operating underneath it. Having a malpractice insurance doesn't mean you're always covered by it. You have to be doing the thing that the license covers at the time of the alleged whatever. Okay. So this is what the young lady just said, funny enough. So funny that it came up at the perfect time. To comply with the due process clause, in order to comply, all assertions of state court jurisdiction, including in rem and quasi in rem, must be evaluated according to the minimum contact standards set forth in the decisions regarding in personam actions. The presence in the state of property alone will not support the state's jurisdiction where the property is unrelated to the cause of action. So just having a so-called, well, her property is located in what we call our foreign trade zone. But that don't mean that where I live is related to your cause of action that you have going on. So you can't use the fact that I live here to say you're in the state. You were driving through this piece of highway. You were in the state. You were operating a motor vehicle. Excuse me? A non-resident defendant's connection with the forum state, i.e., the state where the lawsuit is brought, that are sufficient for jurisdiction over that defendant to be proper. It has to be proper. It has to be proper. Lack of minimum contacts violate the non-resident defendant's constitutional right to due process and, quote, offends traditional notions of fair play and substantial justice, end quote. Examples of minimum contacts include conducting business within the state. If you're a foster parent, you're conducting business within the state because you have a license by a state agency. So if the cause of action is your parental rights, the property is related because you are engaging in the property being, even though the property is your parental rights, it's being exercised while conducting business in the state if you're getting paid to take care of the kids. That's why they can adjudicate your right. If you're not in conducting business while taking care of your kids because the state didn't assign you the right, and then they don't have an interest, that would be property unrelated to the cause of action of CPS. My parental rights are property unrelated to CPS's cause of action because I don't have no minimum contacts, which require me to be doing business in the state under the license of the agency that's trying to prosecute me. That's why if it's just a driver license, it better be under the Department of Transportation that's trying to prosecute you. But it ain't. It'd be the city. So we're gonna cut it here because I see we got some questions. I got a few more notes. I got a lot more notes. We're gonna have to go over it. I'll go over it next time because it's gonna get too long. But for next time, you want to pull up all those things because now it brings us under the tax code when we look up the Buck Act. I see several of you were looking up the Buck Act. I saw some of you posting about it. So congratulations. But here it is, the Federal Buck Act, it being enforced
under an RCW, which is a state statute. So don't let nobody tell you, oh, we don't go by those federal. Yeah, you go by the codified version for the state, but you're still included in federal Buck Act. Stop fucking lying.
That's why I put they're under the guise of civil and criminal. Have an IRS proceeding.
It always got to be an IRS proceeding because you can only be engaged in business for the purpose of taxation. That's why I put this all in all caps.
And that's where
This is what. Go ahead, Bobby.
That's where that saying comes, passing the buck, because that's exactly what's happened in every situation. They just keep passing the buck down the line. It's a game of round robin. So, what was the movie that killed Bill? The guy walked in there to screw the invalid. She was in a cast. He said, "My name's Buck, and I like to fuck." Well, this is why.
Yeah, that was with the God damn it, Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
Disgusting. So the Buck Act is an act to permit the state. See, guys, an act to permit the states to extend their sales, use, and income tax to persons residing or carrying on business. This is what you have to be thinking of every time a state agent wants to talk to you. They are presuming 1, you're a person, 2, you're residing, and 3, you're carrying on business in a federal area because that's the definition of in the state.
4, can you state as a source of authority?
Hey, I'm going to try to find out because remember, I showed you the check. Okay, that they gave our son. Calling it an overpayment because I kept telling them. I said, I had to tell the salesman, I said, you need to stop talking. You need to stop repeating that everybody needs to pay tax nonsense because obviously you've never read the tax code and you're going to get yourself in trouble. That's what I told him verbatim because he had no record to support that we were persons, that we were temporarily residing, or that we were carrying on business, except they said, let me see that driver license. And my husband went, bam. They didn't say it was show it to us so we can support our presumption that you're a person residing or carrying on business in a federal area.
What was it? Your son wasn't old enough? He wasn't 18 or what?
My son doesn't have a driver's license.
But I mean, is he 18?
Yes, but his father went and they asked for driver's license. That's why I told y'all I stayed in the car. I was literally laying on the backseat like I was trying to mind my business.
I didn't want you to fuck it up.
I was like, I don't care what they do in there. I mind my business.
I said, I don't care what they do. I know the law.
Right. I don't care what they do in there. They come out and try to charge my baby taxes. I'm going to type that lawsuit so fast. I should write it right now. I should write it right now anyway. Right? Just in case somebody need it. Because I be waking up thinking, how can I adult today? I don't wait till some issue come up on my lap and then like, I don't know what to do.
True.
Y'all can already see the next thing coming up. The Corporate Tax Act of 1909 imposed an excise tax on corporations for the privilege, again, of doing business in corporate form. You got a court date next week? They better have some business regulatory, some file. I mean, come on. Business, engage in business is things you're going to find. This is the tax code. But isn't it funny? The tax code is 82. Transportation is 81. Isn't that interesting? Transportation is 81. Public service law invoked. Invoked right on Title 82. So I'm going to let you guys find your state version of the Buck Act, and then we'll continue that conversation on Thursday. All right. So let me stop share. Champ, go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst. Thank you for your patience.
No problem. Well, I personally want to tell you guys give policy officers way too much credit. They don't know shit. They don't know shit. You guys, I was a correctional officer for 10 years. We do pretty much the same training as police officers. They ain't teaching you about persons and in the state and out. They just teaching you to be a debt collector. That is it.
Low IQ, you get the job.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less.
This mirror, you're hired.
That's it. And then they're pushing you through the state requirements to do what? Get the fucking federal funding. That's it. So it's like a dummy cloning facility. Just
A
dummy
cloning facility. That's what I call public school.
That is it.
We're teaching them.
We are teaching them.
Yes,
And so that's
we
why
are
when people go,
teaching.
why can't they just give up? It's like, well, what did you teach them? What did you learn that you
They do teach.
parlayed to them? What did you learn? Oh, well, I don't want to
They
learn anything. I don't want to think about anything. I just want the bad guys to stop doing what they're doing. When does that happen? What planet does that happen on?
Yeah, they're not
Hey,
every
teach assignment, transfer, credit. We just don't know it.
Right. Someone literally told me that when I was telling them the right way things are supposed to be done. They literally told me what someone just said.
What? Which is what?
Simon.
I was teaching them the right way of doing things, and they were saying they didn't want to hear it. They were against
Oh,
it.
go ahead, champ.
Okay, so secondly, with the foreclosure situation, right? So I had the hearing Friday and they moved it for trial. There's no need for trial. Trade and Brigade knows there's no fucking need for trial. I ended up calling the initial judge. I ended up calling her secretary just because I wanted to know what the hell happened to her. I'm just out of curiosity. So she said, well, she recused herself from your case. I said, okay, great. Why isn't that on the record that she recused herself? You know, because they're supposed to put
Wow, they recused themselves and did
They
not
don't have,
announce it.
they don't have to put it on the record. They don't have to say nothing. They just have to get
Well,
off.
yeah, they usually do. But then she said, she was like, well, she's been removed from the bench entirely. And that's all I can tell you.
Yeah, because her name is on the
She withdraw out of that bank account too. She withdrew. That's what withdraw means.
So
Name
now,
initially opened the account, right?
Was that the
again.
judge that the account was initially instituted
yes,
by?
yes,
You heard that, Charles?
Yep.
yes.
So if she's not on it and somebody else jumped in there,
Remember, I did that. I sent the email and she put it. They still haven't put that actual email, that private notice that I sent. They didn't put it on the docket, but what they put on the docket was the denial of it. But that's not on the docket, the actual
So how you
document.
denied something that's not on the docket?
I have no idea what these people are doing.
so they used the new lady to deny it.
Yes.
Oh,
She
the
was the
new
one that
ladies
I
who deny it.
Hold on,
Judicial
hold
her ass
on.
right now. Hang
Un-
up.
I mean, unofficially, the other lady got on and supposedly ruled over it, right? That's what they're saying.
her name on there, the new judge
Right. On the
and the chief
denial.
judge. Yeah.
And the chief.
Yep. I put everybody on there.
Ooh-wee. Well, the chief judge ain't gonna come sit in on the case, right?
Well,
That's
he's
who-
supposed to be the trial judge.
So did you notice everybody you're supposed to?
Yeah.
Chief Judge Justice, Attorney General, United States Attorney General, et cetera.
Yep.
Now
Criminal
you got-
rights
that's-
division, civil division, everybody.
Awesome.
So if you disqualified the first one, go ahead and make a notice.
Do
or
a disqual
mo-
notice for the new one because now
Right.
who's gonna sign off on her shit?
Well,
Okay,
remember, I
so-
disqualified her too.
Yeah, but who signed off on that?
She did.
She signed her own
In
denial.
blue ink. So she wanted me to know, bitch, this is personal.
Okay,
Yes.
so what you would do is just go ahead and put a notice on maybe on the record that the initial judge has been disqualified for failure to follow due process, right? And then it can't roll on the case without jurisdiction, and the case cannot be restarted or, started anew with a new judge, right? So with that, I mean, you can use that type of notice and send that back over to everybody you CC.
Yep.
So failure to comply with due process, no jurisdiction in the matter. The orders are void, right?
Even the order for trial. Did they put an order in for the trial?
Yeah. They put an order in.
The judges are working together and warring against the Constitution. Shit, you can go on and on with the whole using all disqualification writing, right? Just use that in a new notice that they're warring against the Constitution together.
Yes,
Conspiring.
timestamp 2:02:39 or 2:38 or 2:35, depending on how far you want to go back.
Hey, real quick.
There's already a list, guys. There's already a list on the in the file section of lawful living. There's something called a master, what is it called? A master service document or master notice of service or something like that.
So if you
So that
disqualify,
it has like 30 different agencies on there. Not to say that you just send it to all 30, but you pick and choose which ones you might want to use for this particular process or that particular process. Of course, you can add to it and all that. It's
I
called
say
the
you CC who you CC. I mean, you notice who you CC.
Master Certificate of Service or something like that. It's called.
Let me
So-
clarify. Clarify real quick. The initial judge, I never disqualified her. I learned about the disqualification when she removed herself. However, the last hearing that I had with her, which was the motion to show authority, when she denied it, and I said, okay, I'm not going to keep playing with you. You're going to be a defendant on the 42 USC whatever. That is why
Yeah.
she jumped her ass off the case.
Well, that apparently needs to be communicated to this judge as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you would the original one. You said disqualified herself.
She disqualified herself. So what I did when I sent the private notice, I had the original judge's name on there, but I just put a strike through. Like, yeah, I was talking to this bitch. Now I'm talking to you.
So what you would really need to do is a separate one for the new one, right?
I did it.
She did, and she denied her own recusal.
She denied her own
But you
recusal.
put it on a motion, right?
No,
I
she
didn't
sent
put
it
it on a
private,
motion. Private notice, private email.
and she put denial on the record.
The judge.
Hey, real quick.
Right.
And the header says not to be filed on the record. It's a private note.
Right. So,
So they did not file it on the record, but
So
they
they did
put
not file it on
they
the
put
record.
the denial of it on the record.
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So yeah, but have you addressed that? Have you corrected that?
Corrected what?
That she put it on the record. That
No, she didn't put the notice on the record that said private notice. She did not put that on the record.
I
She put
understand.
her reply to it on the record.
Right. So did you send the judge and the clerk back a notice saying that was misappropriated and put on the record as accidental because that was in private?
She could do that all in one.
That
she
right.
should
That's
do
what
that
she's
all
gonna
in
do
one-
right now.
All in one notice, and then letting them know and standing on the same square that they failed to notify the secretary, right? And or your fucking consent. However, your consent to me, like I said before, is putting shit on the record. But,
Yes.
but you know, you can still do the thing.
Yeah, they're
It's-
gonna be
that's what
gone
I-
soon.
It's being a publicist, so you'd have to know the rules of publishing when you put things on the record. But when you put things on the record, what you're getting, champ, is a forbearance, and that's a refraining of action because it just keeps going on and on and on.
That means you're fucking participating, right?
Right. Right. So
And
if
I put that post in on Facebook about, you know, the shit that you put on the record could grant them jurisdiction and make it hard for you to get up from underneath it.
So what if you're the one moving the court and
Well,
you
that's
need to get
different.
rid of the judge?
That's different if you're on
If
offense.
you have to get rid of the judge and you're the one moving the court, we answered this in that first video with Charles. If you're playing the position of plaintiff, you disqualify them on the record under 28.255. But again, to speak to your particular case, Dean, just because you didn't like what the judge said is not a reason to disqualify them. You're not paying attention to what the judge is actually saying. They're telling you that is not the court, which is why the reason other people filed the same or similar complaint into the federal district court, not into the United States Court of Claims, because that is for claims strictly against just the United States under a contract that you have with them to deliver goods or services or something in interstate and foreign commerce, not
So-
because they're mistraining or allowing to their political subdivision called the county of whatever to run rampant.
Yeah, if you're bringing your court, those people still have to ask you that you just said it's your court. If you're bringing your court, anyone that tries to come in to be an interloper just shows up out of nowhere. Wait, excuse me, you have written
Has no standing.
permission for me to enter my court? They don't. None of them
It's
ever.
$1 million to join my club. Shit.
They can't just
You
show
know?
up talking. They don't have your permission.
Hey, real
So-
quick. Hey, let me say this real quick. Yo, real quick. Hold on, y'all. I just found this document called an affidavit of disqualification, and it's sent directly to the Supreme Court. And it's for when the judges don't want to disqualify themselves.
Let me see it. Is it in chat?
No, it's not. I just found it though. It's called an affidavit of disqualification. I'll post it up later.
So to me, that will be the same position as Chief Judge Justice of the United States, right? So
Okay, so let me show you guys something. Now, of course, it's great to file it in the federal, but I found it in Washington. You see right here? Notice of disqualification. It's not
I
a
don't like that.
motion at all. Even if you want to call it a motion, they're not calling it a motion. The judge is disqualified by notice. So they can't deny. Well, what are you going to say? Well, I didn't read it. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
'cause they're
not a
breaking the
motion
law.
for them. Like the instructions don't say, and then if the judge disagrees, they can just put a denial on the record. Y'all understand? They can't
Yeah,
just brush it off.
that's why I do it in private, because you're breaking the law and you're calling them on it. So you know this is a whole new ball now. This
See right
ain't-
here, it must be filed and called to the attention of the judge before the judge has made any discretionary ruling in the case. That's why you have to do it
first.
And I call that bullshit too, because I've done it after 15 years.
It don't matter. It don't matter when you do it. But it's why when people are like, well, I'm going to try this thing and I'm going to try this other thing. Like when you were laughing at the guy that says he put in a challenge to subject matter jurisdiction or territorial jurisdiction. Challenges to jurisdiction is based on the presumption that the judge is already qualified. If the judge is disqualified, there's nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, if he didn't get that authority right off the rip, we didn't have to talk about nothing else. He didn't though.
All of it says notice of disqualification. What is this? Cowlitz Superior Courts. I don't know what state that is, but it says it right there. Here it says in Montana, disqualification for cause, affidavit for disqualification must be filed more than 30 days before the date of the set hearing.
Cowlitz is Washington.
Over and over, they're going to tell you. Filing an affidavit of disqualification under Ohio Code, disqualification of judge out here in Seattle. They have something called, like, this looks like it's an affidavit. Yep, here you go. Oh, look at that. They got a scan code and all. Get the hell out of here, bitch.
And
Go
Malika,
away.
in those courts, they have to have a consent form as well. Everything's about consent. You can ask them for
Yeah.
that form. Produce the
But like
form that
I
I
said,
consented to these proceedings. They have it in the
You
district
show
court.
up. When you show the fuck up and when you start putting shit on the record, depending on what you say, you start arguing the fucking facts, you're busted.
And people get butthurt. They're like, I get people email me all the time. Malika, you told me 3 years ago not to go to court. I finally started to listen. Like,
Still gotta put something
congratulations.
in there.
They consider mine
Congratulations.
an instant motion.
Yeah.
An instant motion.
That's what it is.
It's in black and white, private and confidential notice.
Yes. You got to write them back a letter letting them know that it's not up for their denial. I mean, that's why that's why it's called a note. You notice nowhere is calling it a motion.
Right, it's a
The
notice.
worst thing is calling it a notion. The most powerful thing is calling it an affidavit.
I just put a
Click that Ohio joint,
go
Malik.
fuck yourself, and I'm not showing up to be surety for your death. Period, and I'm out.
Yeah, I'm not. That's
Hey, Green
what we're
Child.
all leading towards, guys. That's what this whole
I'm not
conversation is
showing
leading
up.
towards.
I'm not showing
Nah,
up.
the
Listen, you
code.
put special appearance, whatever the fuck. I'm not showing up to fucking be surety for your death. Period.
And that's what we need to start letting them know. If a judge of the Court of Appeals allegedly is interested in a proceeding pending before the court in a county of the judge's district, allegedly is related to or has bias or prejudice for against a party that's all of them. Here we got this pro se trying to get a free house. Oh, they out here trying to act like the laws don't apply to them.
So my motion, if you will, that went on the record coincided with my disqualification.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean? So it was simple, short, and I never went in there. Right, my paper went in there for one of the responses, if you will, and then the rest was just disqualified.
That's what you have to do, guys. The disqualification, that private notice of Joe know firsthand. You send those attorneys that notice of no authority off the record directly to them, because that's where discovery is supposed to go. Discovery is supposed to go directly to the other party. It's not supposed to go on the record. But everybody out here is like, well, what do I put on the record? What do I say on the record? You got to be very careful what you put on the record. What we call it, negative averments. We put that on the record. That's basically saying, I ain't coming, and here's why, bitch.
I don't know you.
Right. You don't know
You're
me.
not a debt collector.
Yeah.
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. Could you imagine?
Stranger
I'm
danger.
coming. Stranger danger.
Stranger danger.
Snap, you're in a great position. Thank you for your question. Did you have anything else for us?
No, thank you.
I especially want to thank you for right off rip letting people know about your background of being a corrections officer so that they can get it out their minds that these police are conniving in the back, like, oh yeah, we gonna not tell them that we know their person. Like those officers that you guys saw me talk down from arresting our son, you could see them visually upset that I keep telling them, oh, you said you checked the commercial driver system. Of course he's not gonna be there. He's not engaged in motherfucking commerce. That's the first thing I told you when I rolled up here. And that is what kills their whole case. They tried to file a citation. We did a private notice reporting them to what supervises the Highway Patrol for Washington. Told them in the notice, the body cam, as well as my own record, is going to corroborate that they were searching for him in the commercial system, didn't find him, and somehow created securities fraud. Because that's what making a ticket that's only supposed to be for persons engaged in interstate commerce operating a business in the state.
right? For a private man. That's securities fraud.
So you can disqualify that right off the rip and then hit them with security fraud.
Yeah, but I hit them with the securities fraud in my complaint against them for the in the risk management. I was like, they out here ripping off the federal government, collecting funding to do this nonsense on persons that it doesn't apply to.
You did it on the FTC too?
What?
To the FTC.
The FDCPA?
No, did you report them to FTC?
No, I actually only reported them to that one department and the end. I didn't even send it to anybody. Well, I sent a copy of it to the officer that was kind enough to give me his card. I sent him a email copy. All right, Lady Barbara, go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
Thank everybody for being here. I really love all the information that I am receiving, which is very enlightening. I have two questions. I own my home, right? I bought it through a Fannie Mae, all that, which I deal with that later. But my question is, if I was to get rid of the insurance with State Farm, if a disaster come, natural disaster or something happen, how do I get, like, who pay for it, me?
It's
And
your
the other
house.
question,
It's your house. Who's supposed to pay for it?
mine's me.
Okay. So what happens with insurance, and I'm going to tell you this because I have two people close to me that sell insurance. One, where's Gateway? Progressive. Used to be State Farm. Okay. So State Farm transferred to Progressive, from Progressive, or vice versa. Don't quote me on that. But my mother also sells life insurance and death insurance and trusts and all that nonsense that a lot of people love. Okay. All it is a savings program. That's it. That is it. So if you have something that you wish to maintain, you can save for it yourself. You can take that $100, $200, $300 a month that you were planning on giving to some insurance scam artist, and you can actually save it yourself. And I've had these conversations with these people who sell this insurance, and they all say the same thing. It's nothing but a savings plan.
You can do a surety bond.
That they know that you're probably only going to use once in your life, because when you say natural disaster, that's probably going to happen only once in your life. Because if it happens twice, they're not going to even cover you. They're going to be like, F that lady. She got 2 tornadoes. What are the chances that someone get 2 tornadoes that take away their house in 10 years or whatever? They're going to drop you like hot rocks.
She's still making payments on it?
She said
I'm already making payments through State Farm every month. Car
No,
insurance
I mean, like,
and home.
mortgage.
She said
Say
she owns
again?
the home.
She owns it outright?
Correct.
Ah, yeah, you're good. Okay.
So they know that you're keeping the insurance, getting and keeping the insurance for just in case. They know that. So when you say, well, who's supposed to pay for it? It's still you pay for it. If you gave them $300 a month for 10 years, how much did you give them?
Right. Close to 3, 6, 9, almost 100,000
Right. So $300 times 10 years.
or 9,000.
Oh, wait, well, it'll be times
Them are,
10.
them are all
Right?
deposits. Who request
then-
those
That's
back?
36 months. That's
You
36
might
months.
multiply that by 10 years.
Can't you request those back?
36,
Those are deposits,
okay.
which are loans, right? Deposits are loans, right? So you can ask for that back, demand that back.
Okay, so the years that I had State Farm, I can demand every penny back from the day I started here.
You should
That's
be
what
able
you're.
to.
Okay, is it a site? Is it posted on Friends-in-Law or something?
Aha,
where I
let me
can
show
read-
you what it's called.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me show you.
What's a deposit, man?
Let me show you.
Does this
You're gonna go to fraud.
does this also apply to life insurance?
That's what we're talking about. All insurance is only for engaging in interstate and foreign commerce, period. There's no other reason for insurance. Insurance is nothing but a savings plan otherwise. A savings plan that you can do yourself if you wish. Most
Right.
people, and this is what my insurance family tells me, they know that most people are stupid and most people are irresponsible, so they're not going to save. So telling everybody you need insurance, brain dirtying people, you absolutely need insurance, is because they know that most of us dumbasses will not save. We'll be like, well, who's going to do it for me if and when it happens? You, motherfucker. It's only you. It's your shit.
It's just you. It's just you.
Because even if you give it to the insurance company, they're going to turn around and give you back what? The same money. The same money. They're not going to give you a dime. If they have to give you a dime more than what you put in, they're going to drop you.
And
They're
they're
gonna
gonna
drop
do
you.
the deductible first.
Or
They ain't got
yeah,
it
but
anyway. They're
most people
bankrupt.
pay their deductible. Most people don't bother the insurance company because they know the
Right.
insurance company is gonna increase how much you have to save. And we don't want to save. We want to do whatever we want to do and be like, I can fix it myself. I don't have to call my insurance company. It's only $500, but you could have done that anyway. But now you
Right.
still out $300 a month for insurance. The
Well, I
elements of
just
fraud are representation of an existing fact, materiality of the representation, falsity of the representation, the speaker's knowledge that it's false. Okay, I'm only supposed to have insurance if I'm engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. Why the hell you selling me insurance without verifying that I'm in fact engaged in interstate or foreign commerce?
I didn't know that document exists.
You didn't know what?
Thank you. Thank you for showing me the
Yeah, this is just elements of fraud. It doesn't matter where it's from. It's always
Mhm.
going to be the same. And this is why most people lose when they try to sue for fraud, because here's the thing right here. This is what I'm always going to be missing because I don't rely on shit they tell me. I go, yeah, search. Oh, that's bullshit. Over. Destroyed my whole claim from fraud because I never rely on their bullshit. But if you did rely on it and it caused you damages, there's no statute of limitations for fraud. So that's when people say, "Oh, can I go back to the beginning?" If it was fraud, fraud in the inducement, somebody lied and told you, if you don't have insurance, you're not gonna be able to do this and that. That's fraud, and you induced me. Fraud, which initially causes a person to execute an instrument or make an agreement or render a judgment, misleading someone about the facts. You have fraud in the inducement. State Farm, they call it State Farm. Why is that not a clue to y'all?
Where the sheep?
Geico is called Government Employee Insurance Company. How come that's not a clue to y'all? What y'all think the G stand for? The G and E in Geico. What do you think it stand for? How many people on here got Geico but ain't a guy?
Need a G.I. Joe.
Who on here got Geico but they're not G.I. Joe or G.I. Jane?
I'm with Progressive, which isn't better, but yeah.
It's still farmers insurance.
It's still yeah.
It's still
Mhm.
farmers insurance. Who's the farmer? The state. Who's the livestock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
If you got a wallet, what's in your wallet?
What's in your wallet?
You're treading in a wall.
My wallet is my trust. My trust in God.
Okay, even on that note, right, Tamika? Okay, I'm looking at this. I'm like, I want to get some improvements done for the house. It was built in 1938. I like old houses, but the structure is better to me. But if I want it's like I want to do it like 600 square foot addition, right? Do I pay for that out of pocket, or do I look on one of the sites on Lawful Living that can tell me?
Why do
Barb,
you
pay
want
for
to
it.
not take care of your own stuff? I'm just don't understand.
No. That's what I'm asking. I'm saving
But why
the
would
money
you
to
look
do.
for someone else to take care of your stuff? That's what I'm just like, I don't understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah, pay me. I'll come out and do it.
Finding a good contractor is hard here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, is there another way other than listening to Bobby, knowing that I'm 100%, total and permanent VA, right? Whereas, so the funds are coming in. I can't say that. But okay, I got it now. I gotta pay for that. So I don't have a beef with that. But I would just
You can offer cash, grass, or whatever.
There's gotta be carpenters in your local community that needs help, that needs work.
The bank can use the insurance policy to fund.
Do you have a skill you can trade? I mean, that's why I know I'm being funny, right? Ass, cash, grass, anything you can trade. I mean, this is how you have to live your life. You can't be like, well, there's this system that I could go make merchandise out of myself and offer them my ass, grass, cash, and then hopefully they give me something and I multiply it and then I pull some out, and however you want to do it. We had dentists over here that were giving away dental work for people in exchange for fixing whatever, the floors or painting, or I don't even remember. I just was blown away right on Craigslist. They had it happened twice. I don't think it might have been the same dentist, but I know I saw it at least 2 separate times where people you can trade services.
Yeah,
you don't have to
bartering.
be like, well, I don't have the money. Is there a way I could rob from a bank? Or I mean, be creative.
You are the money. So yeah, your skill.
Yeah. That's
So
what I
it's
tell
about
everybody.
bartering.
That's what my next show is gonna say. I'm the money.
I am the
If I wasn't the money, why the hell they leaving the banks alone and trying to rob me?
Yeah, I have a shirt
Okay,
that says I
I'm
am the money.
those are options. I never really looked in, looked outside the box like that. They are great, and I'm great.
Awesome. Awesome. That's what we're here
Okay.
for. Thank you
And
for your
one
question.
thing, one
Yes.
more thing. And I know everybody gonna give me some advice on this. I had an incident on post at the commissary. The little guy, like, he was the pit bull, and I'm looking at him like this little shit, and that what came out my mouth. MP showed up, blah blah blah. The MP instructed me on the statement, and I'm looking at this guy, remembering lawful living and what I need to do, how that, semi how to handle all this, right? Like make a long story short, the guy is going to federal court right now, which I do not have to because he's making a plea deal, but I should never walk in federal court, and I can respond through them through correspondent.
You talking about? Are you a party to the case?
Of course, yes.
You're a
It
victim.
happened on
Which
base.
position are you playing?
I was just I was going in the commissary to buy.
Yeah, but
items,
what
food.
position are you named as in the case?
The plaintiff?
You're the plaintiff?
Yeah, but right now the feds got it. You get what I'm saying? I'm
You're
not.
a
I'm just
victim.
my name there, but they handling everything.
So you need to file crime victims.
Crime victim.
If you want money, if you want to get paid for whatever happened to you in the situation, you crime victims.
That's on the site.
Whether I have to show up or not,
Yeah, there's a victim fund.
Sure
I
enough.
didn't know that because they are pulling
Mhm.
funds from him.
Title 15.
But to get your
Title
money,
15. Okay, I know that's on Title 15 is on the
crime
site.
victims.
Okay,
I
got
think
that.
we have victim up there. Oh, I think I've already
I
overwritten.
posted it myself a week or two ago.
Who is this?
I didn't see it.
Legally attracted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you didn't put no damages in, then they ain't finna pay you shit.
And that was another person that would help me get this 600 square foot built,
Well,
Yeah.
that'll
Okay.
definitely be
I'm guessing you didn't go to the
fundraising.
hospital.
No. It was really more verbal, and
I'm
we
just saying
had
that's
to
gonna be
hold him back
fundraising
from
for
a
you.
check. Say that again.
That's gonna be some fundraising if they pay you out.
Right.
The
Your
crime
house.
victim.
Then you can
Or get you
invest that
some
in your home.
get you some what do you call it? Some therapy.
Yes.
I'm already on the therapy, so that's a good one.
There you go.
Crime victims right here.
Gotcha. I just snapped it. Victims
So
of
Crime
Crime
Victim
Act
Act of
1984.
1984. Then they got the Crime Victims Act. I'm not sure which one that is, but we got some things on here about it.
Cool. Okay. Both of them I'm following. Cool.
Okay. They look like they link to two different things, but
Mm-hmm.
still, they tell you here.
That's all I need is directions and what to read. And that's what I'm finding out. I go here and I'm like, I know a lot about foreclosure, but how you get a house? Even in mortgage free. But I keep searching. I'm on my third video,
Mortgage
but
Free
I'm
began
searching.
with how to get a house. So if you watch the first videos of Mortgage Free, we talk
Mhm.
about how to get the house.
I know I'm looking at the videos now.
Okay.
And I'm printing out the documents, which, I'm like, there's a snowstorm here. The power go out. I got a flashlight.
Don't print. Why are you printing out the documents? Do you just like reading from paper instead of
Yes.
online? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Some
I
people do
appreciate
say that. That's why I asked.
everybody. Yeah, I'm learning to get with paper so I can go in and look at the definition, line through, minimize the name, but I know it means the same.
It's
but it
best
makes
to,
sense
well,
to
I
me
shouldn't say it's
with
best because I don't
colors.
know how everybody learns, but I prefer to edit the document to my situation before I print it and go
Mm.
through it, as opposed to just printing the template because there's missing context in the template.
No, I had to buy a tablet, but not a tablet, a laptop, because I had to get words, so I ain't have to
Okay.
deal with the PDF. You know what
I
I'm
got
saying?
you. Got
So
you.
now I'm looking at
Well,
who is the petitioner. The petitioner is me. I put my name there. So like you
Okay.
saying, I am editing it, but I'm
Okay,
printing it
cool.
out and writing on it, then go back to it.
All right. Well,
I
thank you for
learned the
your
hard way,
question.
but
Thank
it
you for your
sticks.
patience.
Thank you. Okay,
All right.
shalom, everybody.
Yes.
Peace.
All right.
All
peace.
right. Lee, go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
Hey, good afternoon. It's great
Hey,
to
hi.
hear everybody. And as always, amazing call. Thank you very much. All right, I have the quickest question and then a curious discovery. When you chose Ford, did you do that from preference or did you do that
Yes.
because it had some
I love
domestic?
our Expedition. It's a 2003 beast. It never
Okay.
broke down on us. It's taken us to Florida from Texas twice. It brought us here from Texas to Washington 31, and it'll probably go another 280,000 miles. So
I'm glad. I'm
that's
glad
why I
that's
was
the
like,
reason why. Okay.
Ford.
I just wondered if there was some domestic advantage to that choice because
Every time my husband goes, I want a new car, and I turn and look at him on his screen, he's looking at an Expedition. And I'm like, I thought you said you wanted something smaller.
right? No, good for you. I think that's a fantastic choice. And you know, it's the meat behind what you're saying here is much more appealing to me in this concept than any gadget or car or anything. But when I do mine, it'll say Ducati, so I think it'll, same rules. But anyway, the interesting discovery I saw was when in the beginning of the call when we were going through the codes and I was looking up Colorado codes, even though I'm in Illinois at the moment, I saw that they have an agricultural exclusion that basically defines exactly the position that we're in anyway, precisely. So if you're in agriculture and you're below 16,000 pounds and you're below, everything else, it says you're no longer in commercial commerce. I'm like, okay, so they have a category for it. Why not just line up with that? And that way you can still get agricultural plates and all this other nonsense and prove that you're not in commerce. And I got one last one. I want to hear your thoughts on that. But I thought about driving. Okay, I have a little tiny black Tacoma pickup truck, right? Like right out of Back to the Future, little tiny one, right? So I want to go to the weigh station when I'm driving, across state lines and stuff. I want to pull into that weigh station. And I want to say, yes, I am here to get weighed. And they're going to say, what are you doing? You are not a commercial vehicle. And I'm going to say, would you please give me something that says that so I do not confuse myself and drive into weigh stations again? And then I will have proof that it is not a commercial vehicle.
I like that.
Yeah, because right, the weigh station is going to say
That's
you're not
hilarious.
commercial. And there you go.
Look, all the guys are like, I like that idea.
It's gonna prove the way.
Well, when I am driving, a Class B or A vehicle, I blow the weigh stations anyway. I have never stopped at one, coast to coast to coast to coast. I have never stopped. So since I don't do it for that reason, I want to do it in my little pickup truck and prove that it's not that reason.
Yeah, and that's the way to fuck around and find out.
Thank you guys. I want to hear. I'll listen. I yield.
All right, thank you for your question and your patience, Lee. We're gonna do one more, guys. One more, because this is getting kind of long. AIM, go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
To someone else, or someone else can go.
All right.
I just had a real quick. You mentioned the master certificate of service, and I think that's in the private groups. And I put in a request. Is there something that I must do to be accepted in those other groups?
Yes. Have you joined any of the free and open groups at all?
Yeah, I'm in the lawful living. I'm in the name calling. I'm in the because I'm also a farmer and into agriculture. I grow food as well. I have 2 stars, 20-year-old and
This is how you join the class. This is how you
All
join
right,
any
that's what
class. See right here.
Yeah, I did
You
that.
interested? You donate.
All right, that's
And you make sure that you include a note with the name of the classroom
All
and
right,
your
I see.
username on Lawful Living so that we can add you.
Gotcha.
The reason why I asked if you were in any of the other groups is because at the top of all of the open groups, it actually
Mhm.
has the same flyer.
Instructions.
That's
All
that's
right.
the same exact instructions, but people miss it. So I'm always curious, like, okay, did you join the other classes and just like blow right past it?
You
'Cause
know
it's
what? And
literally the
I
first
had a
post right here.
similar question last week, and I did see it, but I'm gonna say specifically what it was is I think I went in looking for videos, and I noticed that the first stuff was like stuff from a year ago, and then I had to go down a little bit to get to the more recent stuff.
Yes,
But I
I'm
did
always
see these.
fascinated why people say stuff like that. Like I'm
But
looking
I did
for
see it.
the videos, and the videos are X old. They're X old, but they're all based on principles, and so you absolutely have to watch them. The newer stuff is just our conversations going on in the group about the stuff that's in the video. So
Oh
if you
yeah,
don't watch,
exactly.
and we can tell when you don't watch videos because people will make a comment, and it's like, "Fuck, that was in video number 1."
Right.
You know.
All
Don't
right.
get into
So
the classes and think you're just gonna live off of the current conversation.
no, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. I went into the videos. That's why I'm saying I did see those
Okay.
flyers, but I was so busy digging into the archives of the videos so that I would be abreast. And so
Awesome.
yeah, I got you. I'm going into the archives of the videos, but I did see that. So thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to help.
All right,
Aza,
peace.
you're our last one today. Go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
Okay, thank you. I had two questions. So, I know I spoke briefly about what happened. First,
Okay, you're breaking up.
no.
You're breaking up on the mic.
Oh, are you telling me slavery is legal in your court? She didn't know what to say. Anyway, that was just very interesting. So that's just my comment about that. And then in terms
Okay,
of
wait,
my
let me rehash
lawsuit,
because now
We
you're
didn't
sounding
hear
better.
any.
Are you
We didn't
saying
hear
that
any.
you went to court, the judge made a statement, and you asked if slavery is legal in the court?
yes, I'm sorry, is my phone breaking up?
It
I
was,
apologize.
then it wasn't. And so all we got was the end.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I was saying that I went into court and asked her the question that she was unable to answer the last time, which is does this court require my consent in order to proceed? And since I sent her a notice saying she was legally incompetent because she couldn't answer my question, she decided to answer it and said, no, this court does not require your consent in order to proceed. I said, oh, are you saying in your court involuntary servitude and slavery is legal? She didn't know what to say about that. It was just an interesting thing that I caught her in. So I'm just going to
Yes.
add that into
I
the
would
color of
definitely do a
lawsuit.
judicial complaint
Yeah.
on her
Okay.
confessing that you don't need consent because we just showed right there in the state constitution that it says governments derive their just powers from consent of the governed.
Did she say she went in there?
Yes, she said she went
Yeah.
in there. She's one of the ones that keeps going.
But I also said, I guess you missed this. I said, I am not going anymore. I am done. Completely finished. I don't know if you could hear that, but I said, I'm not going anymore. I
Congratulations.
learned my lesson and I'm not going anymore.
Awesome.
Finally.
Awesome. I mean, you're doing everything else,
sorry.
you know, you're asking them the hard questions because the question literally pivots. The whole thing pivots on consent. And you get them to say, no, you don't have to consent. Now, is that not a confession of a crime, my friends? Is that not
Exactly.
anybody?
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody, because you remember what we started off with, right? Isn't that a perfect way to end? We started off with governments derive their just powers from consent of the governed. We showed where it says it in the state constitution, right? Says it right there. Declaration of Independence. They just breached their own contract.
Right. Right.
Because I'm sure it says this stuff about consent of the governed right here in New York. Political powers, all political powers inherent in the people, governments derive their just powers from consent of the governed. So if she's saying she doesn't need consent, it's either you are not governable by her, which is true, or she is committing a crime, which is also true.
Right.
That's excellent. Hammer her with that.
Yeah.
All right,
I
guys, I'm
will.
going to stop the recording here.